to Assistant Professor, Department of Peace Studies in Commerce and Research Center, KLE Society, Nijalingappa College. It is my privilege to give an introduction about the today's resource person, one of the eminent resource person, Professor Ravinder Rena. So Professor Ravinder Rena is profound academician and a distinguished scholar in economics, and he is writer, editor, advisor, motivational speaker, and a public intellectual with over 29 years of teaching and research experience in Asia Pacific, Africa, and European continents. Slides. Professor Rena is currently working as Assistant Professor of Economics and Internationalization Project Leader at the NW Business School, Northwest University, South Africa. He serves as Professor of Economics and Internationalization Project Leader at Northwest University, South Africa, Adjunct Professor at Monarch University, Switzerland. Worked as a Professor of Economics at University of Western Cape, South Africa, Graduate School of Business at NUST, and Head of Economics Department of Business Studies at Papua New Guinea University of Technology. He serves as the Honorary Country Director, South Africa for International Internship University. Professor Rena earned his PhD from Department of Economics, Osmania University, Hyderabad. He is basically from Indian, with the achievement of the University Gold Medal for a Best PhD candidate and even the thesis in the field of economics, commerce, and business management. He obtained his MA, B.Ed, MPhil, PhD from Osmania University, and even LLB from Kakatiya University, Warangal, India. He has bagged many awards and prizes. To name few, he got Best Researcher from NUS, and in 2011, Esteemed Award Man of the Year bestowed by ABI USA in 2012. Such profile is enlisted in the words Who is Who International by USA. He served as chairman of the panel of judges for Economics of Global Advertising Award based in Dublin, Ireland, United Kingdom. He wrote 10 books and published more than 130 articles in reputed national and international peer-reviewed journals and 35 book chapters to his credit. Besides, he has published more than 150 articles in newspapers and magazines and websites, and presented over 50 papers in national and international conferences and seminars. As of August 2021, his author ranks is 5,819 out of 6,45,323 of Social Science Research Network. That is one of the greatest achievement of Sir. And even Sir is a top 1% of the researcher in the world, shortlisted in the world, and his Google Scholar citation is 1060, H index 19, height and index 37. He visited more than 300 colleges and universities across the globe. Professor Rena's profile featured in the Global Achievers magazine, July 2021, as a top 10 social leaders who inspires. He is a founder, editor-in-chief and International Journal of Education, Economics and Development, and associate editor of African Journal of Science, Technology, Innovation and Development, which are IPSS and Scopus indexed journal published by the InterScience UK and Tyler Francis UK respectively. He serves as editor board member for many reputed journals. He has been keynote speaker or resource person for more than 100 national and international conferences in Europe, America, Africa, and even Asian continents. So Professor Rena is armed with an in-depth understanding and thriving on extensive knowledge of global economic and social issues. He has widely written an area of economics, of education, development economics, inclusive growth, globalization and higher education, microfinance, rural entrepreneurship, WTO, clean technology and sustainable development, FDIs, development aid in Africa. He supervised over 60 PhD scholars, MPhil, and even masters also. He served many academic and professional committees as a chairperson and even chairman, as a panel member. He is also been an external examiner, moderator for masters and PhD from different universities in Africa, Europe, Asia, America, and Australia. And sir, traveling more than 40 countries throughout globe. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Kittu.
Now, I extended to give an introduction about the chair of this session, Lieutenant Balaji A. Presently, Lieutenant Balaji A is working as assistant professor in Department of Commerce and Management, GFGC, Vemgal, Kolar, and also as an associated NCC officer in the rank of Lieutenant in Government First Grade College. I welcome you, Balaji. He is an MCOM graduate from Bangalore University. Besides an MBA in e-business, he has associated National Cadet Corps officer in the rank of lieutenant, was one of the last officers to give guard of honor to former President of India, Honorable Sri Dr. Apj Abdul Kalam. It is one of the great achievements. His area of specialization including finance and e-business, stock market, and even commodity market also. His passion for research in commerce and management has helped him probe deep into the psychometrics and econometrics. Lieutenant Balaji A has completed 6 years of teaching both UG and PG, and is a recognized resource person and research statistics consultant for many scholars in different universities, even including Bangalore University also. He was a special trainer and resource person for our institution only, MCOM student, for on the topic of advanced research methodology for social science and research, and even other resource person for a faculty development program on advanced research methodology, GFGC Anekal, and even Dr. NSAM First Degree College and East Point College, Bangalore, and even sir has resource person for research scholars coursework in Davangere University, Davangere. He is a passionate researcher himself and carries on research currently in high frequency trading in stock and commodity markets. One of the first of its kind in India. This is the first research in India by the sir. He has presented many papers at national international seminars, conference and symposia and won the many best paper awards. He has cleared UGC net 4 times along with the JRF. And also sir cleared the state level eligibility test also. I welcome you, sir. So now I handed over the session to chair of this session. Thank you.
Good morning to Dr. Mahananda Madam and other faculties and the delegates present at the dais. On behalf of Kennedy College, I request Professor Ravinder Rena sir to start up with the sessions.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a proud privilege for me to be part of the national seminar organized by Keli Society of S. Nijalingappa College of Bangalore. And I must thank the conference organizers, particularly the college management and the principal, Dr. Arun Kumar and Dr. Mahananda and Dr. Kittu, and also our chairperson of this session, Dr. Balaji, and all the students, fellow colleagues, and participants from different corners of India, probably different corners of the world. And so, ladies and gentlemen, today is an auspicious day because of the fact that we are talking about good governance issues. Good governance and sustainable financial markets. This is an pertinent, a very important topic that was chosen by the college conference organizers, Department of Commerce and Research Center. Well, it's also been supported by IQAC, UGC, and probably many other supportive agencies that can sponsor this particular conference. Well, without wasting much time, and I would like to touch on the key elements. In fact, I should be there with you today in Bangalore, but I couldn't travel because of the current pandemic. And I remain here in South Africa, where I can reach you, I can see you, and you can see me, though we have more than 10,000 kilometers distance. So this is the beauty of technology. And the technology is also trying to advance us, empower us, and also connect us. And so that is the beauty of the technology. And we do have the technology also playing a vital role in the financial markets. So I'd like to touch upon some of the salient features in this regard that the pandemic, let me just give you a brief note about the pandemic for a couple of minutes and then move on to, because pandemic and financial markets and the sustainability issues are very much interlinked and very much interrelated. So ladies and gentlemen, today probably it's 8th of October 2021, and our world is probably battling and struggling with this pandemic for the past 1.5 years, or more than 1.5 years. And so probably about 219 million people across the globe, they got infected by the virus. And we got probably close to 4.6 million people across the globe, they died because of this virus, starting from March 2020 until now, about 4.6 million people. That is more than the population of many countries in the world like Botswana, Namibia, Seychelles, and also in some of the European countries. And it is very much close to countries like maybe Netherlands and Belgium and so on and so forth. So that is the volume of the population that has been killed by this pandemic. And the top countries are probably America is the first country in the world which has got than 44 million people. So 44 million people is more than the half of the population of South Africa, because we got only 60 million people living in South Africa in the country. Now, 44 million people got infected in USA and close to 710,000 people, meaning that 7,10,000 people died only in America, ladies and gentlemen. So that is probably 7 times more than the population of Seychelles as a country. So that is a bit of a scary figure, ladies and gentlemen. When we come to the second figure, we got India, which is probably about 34 million people, which is also a very significant number. That's the number that is infected in the whole country of India. And we got more than 4,50,000 people died by the virus. The list goes on. And we have the other countries like Brazil, which has got probably about 21 million people got infected, and close to more than 600,000 people died in Brazil alone. So I'm not going to touch upon that. I also would like to inform you about South Africa. South Africa is the second largest economy in African continent. And in South Africa, we got close to 2.91 million people, getting close to 3 million people got infected in South Africa, and about 90,000 people died by the virus. So this is about the pandemic scenario I'd like to touch upon. Mahatma Gandhi, our father of the nation, he was living and working in South Africa for more than 20 years. We celebrated his birthday a few days ago on 2nd of October. And Mahatma Gandhi, when he comes from South Africa to India, he was also got infected by Spanish flu, which is closely related to the particular SARS, the severe respiratory disease. So that is the SARS disease or COVID, which is probably 100 years ago, that also infected Mahatma Gandhiji. But he survived. And probably in those days, 100 years ago, Spanish flu killed more than 17 million people in India alone, ladies and gentlemen, out of 50 million people that are killed by the virus in 100 years ago. That was about 1918 to 1920. Now, I'm trying to compare, because this is also have a huge impact on financial markets. So financial markets, which is probably a volatile market, which is the biggest market in the whole world. Now, let us look at how the financial market looks like. Now, before we go, and I would like to unpack about the global population. What is the population that we have? What is the land size that we have? What is the volume of these financial markets that are contributing for the entire global economy? So let us try to look into those aspects. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we all know that the population of the world today is about getting close to 7.9 billion people living on this planet today. Now, before the human beings that they started their life on this planet, probably the cradle of maybe the mankind began in African continent. Probably Ethiopia is one of the countries where Adam and Eve, those are the people that they begin to live there. And Morocco, South Africa is also some of those countries where the first mankind started living on the planet, probably more than 2.5 million years ago. So from 2.5 million years ago until today, how many people lived on this planet? It's about 110 billion people they lived on this planet, ladies and gentlemen. So 110 billion people died on this planet as of now. We got 7.9 billion people on this planet, and the size of the globe looks not so big. It's only little more than 500 million square kilometers land. So this is roughly what the world looks like. Now, within this world, I'm not going to teach about geography to you here today, but I'm trying to highlight some of the interesting statistics that can give us a better picture about the global financial markets. So now, out of this 520 million square kilometers land, we got the Russia is the biggest country with about 17 million square kilometers land. Russia alone, and the Canada is Canada, North America. They are the biggest countries. So Canada is about 10 million square kilometers land. Canada alone is almost the same size of Europe as a continent. Now I'm giving you these statistics because there's a huge similarity, there's a huge connection with the financial markets here. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to look at Africa is the second biggest continent in the world. Now, in the whole globe, Asia is the biggest continent with about 45 million square kilometers land, and whereas Africa is more than 31 million square kilometers land. Here we are standing in the world financial markets today. Africa being the second largest continent, which has got 55 countries in African continent. No country in the world, no continent in the world can possess that many number of countries. Even Asia has got probably about 46 countries. Now, Africa is underrepresented in the financial markets. So meaning that we got more than 60 financial markets which are popularly known to the world today. But Africa doesn't have so many financial markets, ladies and gentlemen. You must remember that point. So Africa being the second largest continent, it is the richest continent in the world in terms of the natural resource base. We talk about diamonds, and more than 58% of the diamonds of the world is centered in African continent. And I know in India, we love gold. We are the largest consumers of gold in the whole world, which we consume probably about 38% of the total gold market. Or probably we are the largest consumers of gold in the whole world because Indians are so crazy about the gold. Not in the rest of the world, people, they don't see gold as that much, crazy, important device or metal. So we are the first largest consumers, and the gold, if you look into African continent, ladies and gentlemen, about 55 to 60% of the total gold deposits are centered in African continent. So one can imagine the situation in Africa. African continent is seen as a poor continent or a developing continent or developing countries. It is hosting the developing countries because all the countries in Africa, none of them are developed countries as such. So now if you look into that aspect, you talk about platinum, the place where I'm sitting in South Africa, which is probably the largest platinum area in the whole world. And that is called Northwest Province. And Northwest Province, which is close to about 350 kilometers far away from Johannesburg and Pretoria. So most of the platinum deposits are centered here. So platinum is also one of the important natural resource. Now we talk about the petroleum deposits. Nigeria is the largest producer. We got the Angola, we got Gabon, we got few other countries, South Sudan, North Sudan, and the list goes on. So this is what Africa can offer for us. Africa has been a richest continent in terms of the natural resource base, but Africans are found to be poor. Now we got the same population. Indian population is about 1.4 billions. We are getting close to 1.4 billions. We are going to exceed China very soon. Now we are probably, as of now, we got probably about 1,380 million people. That's the population of India today. Now, what is the population of Africa as a continent? By and large, African population is a little bit smaller than that of the Indian population. So this is what, for comparative purpose, we can understand that the population in Africa is too small. If you look at the average density of the population per square kilometer of African soil is probably less than 15 or so. Whereas in India, we got more than 500 people living on an average. That's the density. Now, why I'm saying all these things here? Ladies and gentlemen, we got out of 60 biggest financial markets in the world, we got very few markets in African continent. One is Johannesburg Stock Exchange, which is based in Johannesburg, and probably it's also the biggest financial market in the whole of African continent. We have got Dow Jones, we got New York Stock Exchange, we got Bombay Stock Exchange, we got so many other stock exchanges. Now, so the participation of African continent or 55 countries in Africa. There are many countries in Africa, they don't even know what is stock market looks like. What is the bond market? What is derivatives? What is futures and options? So that is where we are standing, ladies and gentlemen, in this 21st century, in this 2021 year. So that's despite the fact that Congo alone, Congo is considered to be one of the second largely populated country in the African continent. And ladies and gentlemen, Congo has got more than 25 trillion worth of natural resources, including diamonds and gold and natural other precious metals. But Congo is considered to be the poorest country in the whole world, one of the poorest countries in the whole world, because it contributes about 15% of the total global poverty, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the kind of paradoxical phenomena that one can see, that countries are rich with the natural resource base, but they are poor in terms of the financial markets, in terms of the economic size. Africa as a continent can contribute to the world economy less than 4%, whereas it can contribute the population, in terms of the population, it can contribute about 16% of the total population of the world, which means that if we consider that Africa, the world population is 100, Africans are 16, and by and large, Indians also there are about 17, 18, and Chinese people getting close to more than 20. So this is the kind of magnitude. But in relation to the population, in relation to the economic, in relation to the natural resource base, in relation to the size of the continent, Africa is not able to contribute to the financial markets. That's the sad part of it. The same token goes to so many developing countries in the world, where we have 2/3 of this world is under the developing world. Only 1/3 of this world is developed world. Who are those developed world? Now, if you go to Europe, most of the European continent is considered to be the developed world. Go to Switzerland. Switzerland population is probably smaller than that of so many districts of India. And Karnataka as a state is much bigger than many states of many countries of Europe. You talk about Italy, you talk about Belgium, you talk about Luxembourg, you talk about Romania, and so on and so forth. So there are many states of India. For instance, we have Rajasthan state, which is considered to be the largest state of India, and which is also equal to the same size of Germany, which is the 4th largest economy in the whole world. So we have a lot of disparities that are existing among ourselves. Now, why these disparities are existing? Who were the role players in the global economy probably a couple of 100 years ago? What had happened to us? In the course of time, ladies and gentlemen, India has considered to be the largest economy in the whole world, but not for 10 years, not for 20 years or 100 years. It is for more than 1,800 years, ladies and gentlemen. We must appreciate that. And just before the Britishers came into India to colonize it, India is considered to be the largest economy throughout, right through. Now, what happened to that? So what happened to the wealth that we acquired? India was considered to contribute about 40% of the total income of the world at one stage. So from 40%, we dropped it down to 25%. And from 25% in 1916, about 105 years ago, we are still contributing more than 16% of the global income. When India got independence in 1947, our contribution was 4%. And now today we proudly say that we are the 5th largest economy in the world. But that's not enough for us, because we are contributing less than 3% to the global economy now. So where America was standing before, America is considered to be the largest economy with about $23.5 trillion income. So that made America is the largest economy. Where America before? America was nowhere in the picture. Starting from 1870 until today, 2021, for the last 150 years down the line, ladies and gentlemen, America is considered to be the largest economy in the whole world, which is contributing about 25% of the total income of the world, where India was contributing at one stage. That's what America is standing for. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what the world economy is looking like. Now, within this world economy, I'd like to touch upon some more important issues for you to understand better, and then we'll try to talk about the governance issues, good governance and sustainable markets issues. Now, in the top 10 countries in the world today, America is the first largest economy, and China is the second largest economy. China is nowhere in the world. Probably, if you talk about 1990, about 31 years ago, Chinese economy, Indian economy, we are sitting side by side. So if I give you specific figures of China and Indian economy 30 years ago, you'll be surprised. Chinese economy was contributing or having an income of $316 billion. That is the size of the Chinese economy 30 years ago. What was our income about? We have got probably about $298 billion. So we are about $16 to $18 billion less than what China has got 30 years ago. Now, what China has today? China has got, ladies and gentlemen, it has got probably about $14.6 trillion. That made China as the second largest economy in the world. At one stage, it was even smaller than so many other countries in Europe. And Singapore, such a tiny country in the world, which has got only 700 square kilometers land, with about 6.5 or 7 million people, and Singapore climbed the ladders, remain in the top 10 economies in the world. So we have so many issues here. In the interest of time, ladies and gentlemen, I think I would like to touch upon some of the key elements here. What made Singapore to be in the top 10 economies, where it has got less population one side, it has got maybe less land on the other side. So it is on the principle of MPH. Meritocracy is the first principle. Honesty, the second principle, and the pragmatism is the third principle. So these three principles ultimately will help us, support us, advocate the good governance system, ladies and gentlemen. So it is the good governance which made Singapore is one of the top economies in the world, as one of the powerful countries in the world. If you go to Singapore airport, Shanghai airport, I was there probably a few times. And Singapore looks like one can look at when you land in Singapore, Shanghai airport, one can think and one can look that probably Singapore could be the biggest country in the whole world. The way they built airport, the way they built port, it shows how much they have very limited land, but they wanted to optimize the utilization of that land. That's what they have done. Now, that is why Singapore can receive number of flights, and it is one of the important destinations between Far East Asia, Europe, Africa, and other countries. So the MPH is an important point where they focused a lot. In 1960s, if you look at Singapore history, there's a lot of gangsterism, a lot of drugs, a lot of poverty, a lot of destitution. That is the situation of Singapore probably about 60 plus years ago. So what made Singapore to be the richest country in the world is meritocracy, pragmatism, and the honesty. So that is lacking behind. This is the core, this is the pillar, a cornerstone for the good governance. And without the good governance, ladies and gentlemen, no economy, no financial market, no governance within the political system, within the corporate sector that can be sustainable, or within the education system as well. So in every system, we need to have the good governance. The fundamentals of good governance, if everybody follows the fundamental principles, because we think that Indians are the most honest people in the world, and other side, You go to temple, you see a lot of corruption. You go to any government office, you see corruption. You go to any corporate sector, you see corruption. So corruption is growing along with the population of our country. Then how do you clean up that? That is the biggest issue that we have. We have so many technocrats, so many great scientists in the world that are bringing good name to the nation and made India as a proud nation. But what is happening in Indian system? Ladies and gentlemen, I was indicating to you that the Britishers, when they are ruling India for more than 250 years, they have stolen more than 40 trillion worth of dollars from India. By Nauroji, he was trying to develop a theory how much money is being drained out of Indian economy. And we understand that more than $40 trillion, where even America's largest economy doesn't have that $40 trillion today. So if we have that $40 trillion in our system today, the face of India would be completely different. So one side, $40 trillion, major portion of the economy is being Britishers, and the rest of the money is also been stolen by our great corrupt politicians. Unfortunately, that is the fact. For the past 70, 73, 74 years of Indian democracy, so much money has been stolen by the Indian politicians. Very few politicians like Lal Bahadur Shastri or Apj Abdul Kalam, very few to name with the numbers can name. So there are majority of the politicians considered to be the corrupt politicians. So that corrupt system, without the good governance that has been imbibed, deep-rooted in every corner of India, whether it is a culture, whether it is a societal structures, whether it is a religion, whether it is ethnicity, whether it is politics, economy, in every corner society, it has been deeply involved, ladies and gentlemen. It is difficult for us now to clean up. So the good governance, that is the fundamental. If we follow the good governance, we don't need to have the IQAC system, actually, internal quality control system. We don't need it. If everybody follows, why somebody should come and check? Some of the European countries, we have if you want to sell a pocket of milk, a liter of milk, we used to measure the quality of the milk. Why do we measure that? If we follow the good governance system, the honesty, the morals, the ethics, we don't need that. If somebody, why the food inspector should come and check the food materials? If we could able to follow strictly, everybody is conscious what is good and what is bad. Nobody is need to tell us. So that is lacking behind in the whole system, not only in India, ladies and gentlemen, in Africa is also worse. The corrupt leaders are absolutely scary, and they are trying to create more poverty, more unemployment, and more financial problems to the people. So if you look at the financial markets today, ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of time, I'd like to touch upon probably some of those issues, financial market. What is financial market looks like? Financial market is the biggest market in the whole world, ladies and gentlemen. We got the commodity market, we got the real estate business, we got the forest market, we got the bond market, share market, and probably debentures market. So there are so many markets that have been existing in this whole world, ladies and gentlemen. So if you look at the volume of the market, the financial market alone over a period of time, we got the income where it is 1.3 quadrillions. We are not speaking about quadrillions yet. In Indian concept or in world economy, we are not talking about that, ladies and gentlemen. So we need to think about that. So quadrillion, 1.3 quadrillions, that is the volume of the total financial market that we have. The amount of wealth that is in the financial markets today is about 1.3 quadrillions. Now, despite of this pandemic, global coronavirus pandemic, the financial market, though it is crashed probably on 23rd of March 2020, if you remember, the world financial market is crashed. Probably that happened during the Great Economic Depression in 1929 to 1934. And after about 80 to 90 years' time, again, there was a huge crash in the financial market. So the financial markets have been completely crashed because of the fact that of the pandemic. But still, the financial market, there is a growth, more than 8%, the financial markets are growing. On an average, trillions and trillions of dollars have been exchanged in the financial market on a daily basis. That is why that made financial markets, money markets, are the biggest market in the whole world, because we talk about trillions there on a daily basis. So we need to have the good governance system. We have so many issues that we experience historically for the past 300 years. It's not only the pandemics one side, but also there is a crisis, there is a crunch, there is a kind of situation with the imbalance, volatilities, risk, uncertainty situation that is also prevailing in the financial markets. Historically, if you look at the financial crisis was taking place somewhere around 17th century. So after 17th century, when we moved to World War I in probably 14 to 1918, 4 years period, the world economy was badly hit. There was also global financial crisis that led to gradually, Germany was in crisis, and Germany at one stage, they were trying to use the currency notes to burn in order to protect themselves from the heat, from the cold. They wanted to, if they wanted to buy the wood is more expensive than the currency note themselves. So meaning that they can burn the currency notes to get the flame, to get the heat, and eventually they could try to probably, get rid of the cold. So sorry for that. Now we have a situation where the Germany is the fourth largest economy today. 100 years ago, Germany's situation was very bad because of the inflation. So the people, they're unable to buy the wood because wood is expensive than the currency notes. They were burning the currency. That was the situation there. Now, after that, American situation was worst. America, country where probably about 90% to 100% debt, or 110% debt. So in 1929 to 1934, about the Great Economic Depression, all our economics and finance students, they study about. Now, what had happened during that time? 30%, the total output is declined, and more than 26% unemployment increased. So that pushed not only the global economy, but the financial markets. Financial market basically depending upon the global economic conditions. So the global economy was badly hit from time to time. So in 1930s, we have Great Economic Depression, and even in 2007, 2008, we have the financial crisis. We all know that Lehman Brothers, that's where the issue has started. Lehman Brothers, people, they were minting the money, they were lending the money, but no concrete reasons. So when there's no concrete reason, ladies and gentlemen, and without following the fundamental rules of the banking system, if you begin to lend the money to everybody, whatever the way that you grow the financial markets in the world, we're talking about 1.3 quadrillions, probably more than $250 trillion. That is the money that is existing today. Now, where the money is going to go? It is going to disappear very quickly. So, meaning that Lehman Brothers in 2007, they have probably 2006, 2007, they have problems. And they couldn't able to, they were giving the money to anybody and everybody just like that without having any collateral securities. So eventually, the financial crisis started in America, and gradually it was spread into the world, and it became global financial crisis. So we have the global financial crisis on one side, and the effects of the global financial crisis is still prevalent till today. In Africa, there are few countries that are badly affected. In Europe, many countries are affected. Even in Asia, also there are many countries that are affected. So that is what global financial crisis created for us. Now, country like South Africa, when probably about 7-8 years ago, before the crisis, before the global financial crisis, 2007, 2008, South Africa was the largest economy in African continent. And now we became second largest, Nigeria became the first largest. So since then, for the past 12 to 13 years down the line, South African economy is not recovered. We are underperforming. And our economic growth rate is lying between minus to 0.7%, not even 1%. That's not an impressive economic growth rate that our economist or any finance expert can look at. That's what we are doing, though we remain the second largest economy. Now, you talk about Ethiopia, Tanzania, and Angola, they are growing between 6 to 8%, whereas South Africa is not growing with that. So these are the effects of the global financial crisis that are occurred, and many countries are still suffering with that. Before even we recover from the global financial crisis, ladies and gentlemen, we are already hit by this current pandemic. The current pandemic also hit the financial markets very badly. So you talk about the Lehman Brothers, where the bubble burst and the foreclosures, all those issues that are occurred in American economy, and gradually it also spread. It's like a virus. Financial markets, financial issues is also spread like a virus actually. So the same fashion, the world economy is very much affected by that. Now, recently for the past few days, maybe 1 week, 2 weeks time, you must be following the news, what is happening in Evergrande. Chinese economy has been supported. Almost 30% of the Chinese economy is supported by the real estate market. So now real estate market in doldrums. They're in a very catastrophic situation. What is going to happen to Chinese economy? China is the second largest economy. It can be the first largest economy very soon, in a year or two. In terms of power parity, they'll already be the first largest economy. So what is going to happen to China and the impact of Chinese economy on the world, including India? What is going to happen to us? One has to think about. Evergrande, just to tell you some important issues of Evergrande, is a real estate business where it is employing probably more than 200,000 people actually. So 200,000 people, 2 lakhs people are working for Evergrande real estate construction business industry, which is one of the top 20 biggest companies in the whole of China. Now, even if you talk about the 500 top global companies, Evergrande is also one among them. What is happening to that? The Evergrande is almost in the verge of collapse. 200,000 people working literally for Evergrande, and almost about 3.8 million to 4 million people are getting benefited, getting indirect or direct jobs through that. So that is the 2 times bigger than the population of Namibia actually. Namibian population is only 2.2, 2.3 people. Now, Evergrande people, those who are getting spillover effect benefits, and they are getting probably close to 3.8 to 4 million. What is going to happen to them? The people, they could not able to provide any kind of promise. And the company is almost, although Chinese government is coming forward to help the Evergrande to help the current crisis, but still the hole that was created, the problem that was existing in Evergrande is much bigger than what Chinese government can help about. If this situation is continued, more than 200 companies in China also are having the similar situation. Now that is why the unemployment levels in China also increasing steadily. The productivity levels also declining steadily. Now the labor market, for example, there are old age people because of one-child policy in China, though they changed in 2016, but still the effects of that policy is not reaped out yet. So what I'm saying here is that, ladies and gentlemen, if something happened to American economy, something happened to Chinese economy, something Japanese economy or Germany economy and Indian economy, the whole world financial markets are also going to suffer terribly. Now, in the interest of time, Dr. Mahananda and colleagues, how much time do I have? Do I have a few more minutes to speak and conclude?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please continue, sir. 2-3 minutes. Yes,
Okay.
you are allowed.
Thank you, Dr. Mahananda. Yes. So the point of the matter here is that, ladies and gentlemen, it is too terrible and too scary. Financial markets. China is trying to support, and if China is getting weaker and weaker, and what is the effect or impact that is Chinese economy is creating on the world market? What is going to happen to the global financial markets today? As you can see, for the past 1.5 to 2 years down the line, the financial markets are not performing well. Though, as I mentioned to you just now, that on an average, if you look at the overall picture, ups and downs, like a trade cycles, that kind of scenario that we can observe, the trend we can observe, but still there's an 8% growth in the financial markets. But the situation where we are in now, even Japan also having severe problems actually. Japan is the second largest economy at one stage. Now it moved to third largest economy, contributing more than $5-6 trillion to the global economy. So Japan, America, Germany, South Korea, and how many countries in the Asian continent that they are considered to be the developed countries, ladies and gentlemen, we must think about that. We have only Singapore, Japan, South Korea. And these are the only countries that are developed out of 46 countries. That's not acceptable, ladies and gentlemen. Whereas if you go to Europe, you have to find some other Euro-Asian countries like probably maybe the Russian former republic. So those are some of the Romania, Bulgaria, and those are the only countries that are considered to be not developed as such. But remaining countries are developed. And their financial markets also been developed. So financial markets, ladies and gentlemen, basically one has to think that we have fundamental rules, regulations for every system and good governance principles. For instance, in South Africa, we follow King's Report 1, King's Report 2, King's 3, and there is a latest one, King's Report 4. So these are the reports and these are the fundamental principles, golden principles that can give us a good governance in every structure, particularly the corporate system, the corporate governance. So in the corporate governance, if we could able to follow and that same principles, the King's 1 to 4 reports, and if everybody in the world, they could able to follow those fundamentals, then we can have the sustainable financial market. Why the financial markets are becoming like, what do we call this, the business that we see, casino business, gambling business, where you just try to grow one day and you collapse on the other day. Now look at the Bitcoin issue. The Bitcoin, when it started, Bitcoins probably about 10 years ago, and that was one coin like 1 cent. Now today it's more than $40,000. It went up to $60,000 for one coin. And 2 years ago, ladies and gentlemen, it was only $5,000. And in the coming 4 years, 5 years time, the forecasts indicate that that can grow up to $240,000. So why this is happening actually? An agricultural farm, an industrialist, or a lecturer or a professor working in academia, his salary cannot grow probably 300%. We hardly get maybe 6 to 10%. So this is like a bubble. We are ballooning. The Bitcoin market is ballooned. The way it grew fast up to $60,000, it came down to $25,000. It is just because there is no good governance structures that are involved, ladies and gentlemen. It is only speculations. There are richest people in the world like Elon Musk. And Elon Musk was born and brought up in South Africa. He's a South African gentleman. He's almost about 1.5 years younger to me. and he is from Pretoria. He studied at Pretoria Boys High School. He left South Africa when he was 17 years old. He went to Canada, and from Canada he come to America. Now he is the second richest person in the world, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, in February this year, he also was the first richest person in the whole world. He surpassed Jeff Bezos. So they are sitting with more than $200 billion income, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if they fit some message in the Twitter, in the Instagram, in other social medias, the global financial markets are going to be shaken. They'll be having some complexity, they'll be having some uncertainty. One man can change the global financial markets because of the magnitude of money that they hold. Now we are talking about the billionaires. The billionaires, probably the top 10 billionaires, they are owning so much money in this world. Now, nobody talks about the poverty that we are sitting with in this world. Out of 7.9 billion people that I told you before, and we got close to almost about 4 billion people living with almost poverty. Now, in order to eradicate this poverty, ladies and gentlemen, what do we need? We don't need all the trillions that we are earning. The world economy is earning today is more than 85 trillions. That is the global economy, the size of the global economy. We don't need trillions in order to reduce, in order to provide the food and some basic needs for all the people living in this poverty, below poverty line. We just need $100 billion, let's say. Then who is coming forward to give that $100 billion? If Jeff Bezos, if he gives $50 billion from his money, and maybe Elon Musk gives another $50 billion, then we can try to give an answer, a definite answer for the global poverty today. And out of that global poverty, ladies and gentlemen, sadly, that India is the country which contribute almost 24 to 25% of the global poverty. That is a big shame from our politicians, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, we should also, all the citizens of India, 1.3 billion people, we must think about this. India, once upon a time, it is the richest country in the world, largest economy in the world. Now we are contributing largest amount of poverty to this world. That is not acceptable. So now 24% is coming from India. 15%, as I told you, DRC Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, is contributing 15%. And Nigeria is also contributing. Sorry, Nigeria is contributing 15%, DRC Congo is contributing 7%. Ethiopia is contributing 4%, Bangladesh is contributing 3%. So the 5 countries in the world contribute 50% of the global poverty, ladies and gentlemen. Now 5 countries in the world, they owe more than 50% of the income of this world. The multinational companies that we have today, like Google and probably Apple and Facebook, so those are the companies. They are having almost like they are contributing about $3 to $4 trillion to the American economy. These tech companies, the tech companies are not pretty old. They are only about 15 to 20 years old. So these companies one side, corporate sector one side, and the governance system on the other side. We need to work hand in hand. There's no other way that we can develop a sustainable financial market without following the good governance principles. So there are so many companies that I can take an example. It's not only Evergrande, as I mentioned to you, Chinese company. There are more than 200 companies that are also suffering. And even in South Africa also, there is a company that Hoffman company, which went up to $20 billion. Now it comes down to a few millions because of the lack of good governance. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to share my views here that although we have so many issues in this world, that the issues that we see, they are much smaller than the capacity that we have as a globe. As an individual, you can also apply that. Every challenge that you face in your lifetime, your capacity is more than the challenge that you are going going to face. Although sometimes the challenge looks much bigger than your capacity, you always ultimately think that you have got more capacity, more power, and more solutions in your hand if you begin to think wisely and begin to plan wisely, begin to implement wisely, then you could able to address the issues that you have in your own life. The same thing applied, whether it is a village level governance system, or it is a mandal level governance system, or taluka governance system, or a district level administrative system, or a state, or a province, or a country, or a globe. So every system, it should follow strictly the transparency and the accountability with the good governance. So with this few remarks from my side, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank the organizers of the Nijalingappa College of Commerce, and especially Dr. Mahananda, and also other colleagues, Arun Kumar, and other colleagues and students, dear students. It's always good to see you and talk to you and share my views on a platform such as this. But I would like to thank once again all the organizers and Dr. Balaji, the chairperson, for giving me this ample time to share my views. There's a lot to talk about. Maybe we create another time, but probably in the interest of time, I would like to conclude by stating that every problem has got a solution. And the solution is how to we implement that solution. That's what is important. So the good governance is the core pillar of the sustainable financial markets. So if the financial markets are sound enough, the economy also will be sound enough. So we need to work hand in hand in order to make a vibrant, dynamic, and healthy, sustainable financial markets. With these remarks from my side, I thank you, Ananda. Namaskar.
Thanks a lot for giving your ample knowledge. And today's session was being graced by you. Most of the speakers play from either from commerce background or from finance background, but as you are from an economics major, we came into understanding lots of concepts, and even you teach things about research methodology also. You spoke about the philosophy of pragmatism. So pragmatism, honesty, and merit. You spoke about it. So even I was about to teach about this, how pragmatism is better than either positivism or interpretivism. So I like to elaborate upon it for the people who are there in attendance. And especially when you started speaking about how the pandemic affected and how our growth rate declined, how we were contributing much to the economy. And as coming a person who's also from a defense background, previously during World War I, the major weapon which they used was a chemical weapon. Then it was a nuclear weapon. Then it was a biological weapon. But nowadays the weapon being used is economics. It is economics that is the most terrific weapon which people are trying to bully each other, because now it is a period of mass destruction. Mutual assured destruction is what when countries go to war. So what America and China are playing that war in the kind of So what the countries they try to bully each other using the economics, how they are trying to go about all those kind of things. So we have really got a good amount of knowledge from your session, sir. And furthermore, when you're speaking about the population, then again from the population, what is their contribution? How much we have the potential to grow? How you spoke about macroeconomics, then you spoke little bit about microeconomics also. It was a really good eye-opening session, sir. Thanks a lot for sharing your knowledge, sir, and sparing all your time all the way from South Africa. Thanks a lot, sir. From KLE department, from KLE College, I like to tell you that we like to get associated with you in the future also, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Definitely, Dr. Balaji. It's my pleasure always.
Okay. So I think one of the most toughest things to do while giving a speech or being a resource person is to speak at the last. So since for this session, I'm going to speak at the last, I like to start with the Benjamin Franklin quote. He told that you tell me, I'll forget. You teach me, I'll remember. You involve me, I will learn. So this session, instead of me speaking and giving you, because already there's a lot of speakers who are more eminent and gave the host of knowledge, because in front of Sir's profile and it was really astonishing. Okay, if Sir would have been presented here, I think I would have been got much more knowledge by speaking with him privately also. Hope once he will come to India, got to visit our college also, sir, so that we'll be able to speak about, we'll be able to speak regarding other kinds of research and what kind of developmental economics should be done in our country also, because there's current bull market, excess liquidity is there in our country. We do not know when the market is going to go for a correction also. So I thought we could speak from your economics perspective also. So in this session, I want all those people, I'm not going to give you a lecture, I'm going to involve you. You can use your cell phones. I'll be asking you certain questions. You can try to answer, and these will be the questions which you can develop into, which you can develop as in research questions. Okay. So basically, as a researcher, first and foremost thing, when you're a researcher, the ultimate aim which you're going to get is Doctor of Philosophy. Okay. So you got to know what is philosophy. Most of them are whole doctors who do not even know what is philosophy. Okay. So regarding philosophy, before going to philosophy, let us see the topic of today, corporate governance. Can anybody, you can use your Google, you can search it, but you got to give me your own answer. Okay, I wanted as quick as possible to tell in the terms of the world's greatest game show, fastest fingers first. Okay, so what do you mean by governance? Quick. We don't have all the time. The faster you answer, faster you can have your lunch also. Okay, what do you mean by governance? Okay, I think I like to tell you most of you are here are MCOM graduates. That means before that bachelor, you spent your entire bachelor life to learn commerce, and one of the most important aspects of your commerce is governance. So 21 years of education to become a bachelor of commerce, and plus 2 to become a master of commerce, and I ask the governance, if you're not able to answer, there's a huge question mark. Okay, so quick, what's governance? If
any kind of institute is being governed, like a set of rules which govern.
Okay. Anybody else? I told you this will be only parent session. If somewhere if we go wrong, I like even the sir also to guide us and correct us also. Okay. Yes. Anybody else? Okay. So what I feel is governance is a way administrator. The administrator, he manages the policies, the ethics, the committee, the social relevance, the societal norms, the technology, everything he tries to coordinate and give it in the right form. So how best he can coordinate, how best he can manage the resources, that is called as governance. So what do you mean by corporate governance? Quick. What? Okay, I told you also have your Google also in your hands. You have that luxury also. What do you mean by corporate governance? Quick. Yes, ma'am.
Because the way to manages the resources of the capital, the way it buys and which that profits and losses go in a very
wonderful. So I like to tell you there are lots of boys also here. Biologically speaking, boys have 100 grams more brain of than women, but still I get all the answers from women only. From morning, everybody are placing again women, so I'm giving just a proof of here. Okay, so no issues. Corporate governance, as Madam told, how in a company and CEO manages the different aspects of the company, like your ethics, your policies, your committees, your government rules, legal laws, all those kind of things also. Okay, so before going further, you all came to present your paper here. You got to know what do you mean and what are the different steps in your research. So first and foremost thing, you got to know what philosophy you're going to follow. So when you're going to decide about what philosophy you're going to follow, there are basically the two major approaches in philosophy. One it is called as positivism, another one is called as interpretivism. Okay, you all MCOM students, you all are studying BRM also in your syllabus. So if this is a part of your syllabus, can somebody tell me again? Google, what do you mean by positivism? I'll ask a question and again you got to answer where does it follow? What do you mean by positivism? positivism. Okay, because I would like to touch one of the most important points which sir told. You got to have merit. India has a lot of ample source of merit, honesty. Our culture promotes honesty. One thing next which we require is pragmatism. So regarding to know the pragmatism, you got to know both interpretism and another one is your positivism. Okay, so this is the main keyword which I like to carry. I like you all to carry it in your academic career also, because most of them might be pursuing your most of them are pursuing your research. I think I saw a search profile. He had nearly more than 100 articles published in peer-reviewed journals. So that is the aim you should have to have to achieve. Okay, so that is the aim which you got to achieve. Okay, so this is not an this is a good place for you all to start. Okay, so when you just start, then you got to see a citation of sirs also. So to get one citation itself is very tough, and major major publishing houses will not accept you without proper literature review, theory, philosophy, then what kind of tools you have used, all those kind of things. One of the most I like you all to study when you're free time, there's something called a Saunders Onion, which tells you the process of doing your research. Okay, so most of our Indian papers do not match those criteria. Okay, but sir had it in, he also had in Web of Science and Scoopus Index journals also he was having. So these are things you got to know. Tell me quickly, at least from, you got to tell me what is positivism. You all have the phones, right? Okay, quick, what's positivism? I have many generations of my students sitting here, no answer. Okay, so positivism. Anybody doing PhD here? Okay. Yes, anybody? Positivism. Okay. I like to I'll tell you all positivism. Interpretism is mostly considered as being on the opposite side of your positivism. Okay, then later I'll teach him what sir meant about pragmatism. I think, sir, I told you about pragmatism. He didn't stress pragmatism because he thought that you people already know what you mean by pragmatism. Okay, so before going there, positivism. Basically, positive scientists think that in order to prove a particular concept or a particular idea, you got to collect empirical evidences. You got to collect what? Empirical evidences. I like to tell you a short story for this. Okay, so regarding this one, you think a particular scientist want to tell all crows are black. All crows are black. So what he tries to do is, if he keeps seeing there are more number of black crows, every time you see a black crow, he tells, okay, crow is black, crow is black, crow is black. He keeps on recording it. That's something called as empirism. But what happens, problem is there might be a white crow also, but you will not be able to see. Okay, so he develops an alternative theory telling that all crows are black, all crows are not black. So in order to prove this, what he tries to do is, in your research, you always try to disprove your original intention. That is your major that's a major thing which you got to do. So what he tries to do is, he tries to see the number of crows which are not black. Okay, if he does not get it, he tells, I fail to reject my null hypothesis. I fail to reject my original hypothesis. Researchers should always speak in triple negatives. Fail to reject. Fail is a negative, reject is a negative, null is a negative. You cannot tell, I accept that all crows are black. You tell that I fail to reject that all crows are black. It is as good as all crows are black. So this is something coming from the positivist side. Then there's something called as interpretivism. Can somebody tell me what you mean by interpretivism? Again, you have your Googles in your thing, but mostly I think only WhatsApp are going on it. Okay. Yes. What do you mean by interpretivism? I think you can participate. I'm not going to scold you all or do something as such. What do you mean by interpretivism? Sir? True. There you are going to involve, you got to seek the evidences. You build a theory based on evidences, but in interpretism, I'm going to ask different kind of people. Have you seen any, according to you, all crows are black or all crows are white? All crows are black. If you keeps on telling all crows are black, all crows are black, all crows are black, if you keep on telling, it is called as interpretivism. But these two are totally, I won't tell diagonally opposite, but are mostly parallel views. So what happened is, of late, when commerce, as from coming from commerce, we are neither gifted like sir to study pure economics also. At the same time, we neither study pure science also. Okay, we neither come from normative sciences, we neither come from positive sciences also. So for us, we try to use something called as pragmatism. We try to mix both. We try to mix both your interpretivism and positivism. Okay, we try to mix both. So what you do is you try to collect the opinions, and based on the opinions, you develop an empirical data and try to come up with your own theory. This is called as pragmatism. Okay, so based on sir's speech and your idea about pragmatism, can somebody tell me why pragmatism is necessary for a country to develop economically? Merit, honesty, I'll come back. Okay, sir told these two things. I think I'm going to incorporate these ideas in my future researchers also. But can somebody tell me why pragmatism is necessary for a country to develop economically? You give your own views. Okay. Before going further, I know sir is there in South Africa, but I'd like to ask her one question. Who are the most intelligent people in the entire world? Indians. So I'm speaking to the most intelligent crowd in the world, but still I don't receive any answer. Okay. So, yes. Why is pragmatism necessary? Okay. Okay, sir. Very good, sir. So before going further, regarding your pragmatism, okay. So let me tell you something. When you speak about pragmatism, I like to give you all two diagrammatic views about your pragmatism. When you study about your stock markets, one of the things is good governance and financial markets. In financial markets, you have all the data. Based on data, you do some research, and then you try to predict the market. So for this, you use mostly something, certain things called as econometric tools. You try to model and try to find out what would be the future. You try to forecast, but most of the time you cannot forecast any kind of time series data. You can just try to predict its volatility. You'll be able to try to predict its volatility. So when you collect these kind of data and try to predict something, you get some answer. But do you think our Indian market moves in line with this? No. Wonderful. So when I use this econometric tools and try to model, I get something that is called as positivism. Okay. You got to know what tools you are using is in which philosophy. You got to know the background of your philosophy, because these are things when you are going to present the paper which the technical session chair people will be expecting. They got to know what philosophy you're speaking, and whatever comments and conclusions and findings and objectives you tell it should be in line with those philosophy. Okay, you cannot give your own objective. Okay, so when you're speaking about this, why it does not happen? From okay, and sometimes what's happening is we all are expecting a huge correction in Indian stock market. You know, there's being a serious bull run. Even loss-making companies in Zomato, if you have invested your money within 1 week, your money is doubled. Okay, so there's a huge bull run, and there's surplus liquidity, and all this are happening is going by investor sentiments. It goes because of investor sentiments. It is for this purpose alone. It is for this purpose alone. What happens is we come up a new branch of theory has been inducted. Just carefully listen to the words which I'm telling, because the next question will be upon that one. Okay, I told you Benjamin Franklin, I would like to involve you all. Okay, I like to involve you all. So when Benjamin Franklin has told, I like to involve you all. A new branch of economics has been inducted. It's called as behavioral economics. From behavioral economics, from my subject point of view, we like to speak about behavioral finance. We like to speak about what is the behavior of the people. Okay, what is the behavior of the people? This is called as pragmatism. Sorry, this is called, this behavioral finance comes under interpretism. And in this current state of the society, we got to include both. We got to speak anything you're trying to speak. You got to have the knowledge of your actual dynamics and also what are the people are trying to feel. There is where the true research in a country like India happens. Okay, as they told more people morning, I think Abhishek sir was speaking. I was observing. He was telling that nowadays people invest more in brand rather than in profit. But I don't believe that. People go by sentiment. Here Zomato. Zomato is a very good company. Let me invest here. That's what is happening. Okay, so that's what is happening. Okay, so how long will this run sustain? Until there's a bubble burst somewhere, this IPO will go. Most of the people, what happens is currently the market is having excess. Everyone wants to enter into stock market without doing basic analysis. They do not know the actual reality also. Until an investor, even though you might get good predictions, if investors lose confidence, that is the end of this bull run. So you people got to know what philosophy you are going to speak. So coming to this, first I spoke about what? Philosophy. So next I like to speak about something called as strategy. The strategy of your paper can be either deductive or inductive. We call it as deduction, we call it as induction. Can somebody tell me what do you mean by deduction, what do you mean by induction? I think this all you had. I think Kittu himself has taught you all. Okay. I mean, probably I also would have deduction and induction. Okay. I think you all are having the hang of pandemic situation, because when I teach in my government college, what happens is most of the time they're on the phone and they'll go off somewhere. So the same thing I think is been happening. Okay, deduction. When I speak about your deductive approach and inductive approach, I like to give you a small example. There's something called as deduce. There's something called as induce. Okay. Now, for example, Ram is a man. Man is mortal. Mortal means he's going to die. Therefore, Ram is. This is deduction. This is what? Deduction. Okay. Ram is a man. All men die. So Ram will die. Deduction. What do you mean by induction? I'll tell you. In Christianity, because these philosophies are mostly borrowed from Greek historians, they tell God is love. Then that is Christianity as in theology subject. Then again, you have something called as literature. Love is blind. So can you tell God is blind? So you cannot deduce in these kind of situations. So deduction doesn't happen. You try to take that particular thing into a new subject itself. This is called as induction. Are you able to get the difference between what you mean by deduction and induction? So again, in your research, you got to be clear. After philosophy, what philosophy you have done, you got to be clear telling that what is your strategy, whether you're going to follow a deductive strategy or an inductive strategy, and your researchers should be in line with it. That is the next thing which the people will be expecting. Not just here, but anyway, most of the people will try publishing your sending your papers to very good journals, but they keep on rejecting it. You might get even frustrated also, because these are certain things which we were not taught itself. Okay, but you got to understand that one of the oldest communities to develop about all the same philosophies of India. We have something of Advaita, Dvaita, all those exhibit. Advaita, Dvaita, I think that's a whole new topic. Okay, so next. So next, what you got to have is you got to see what kind of approach you're going to do regarding your approach. You're going to do case study analysis or research, action research, those kind of things. Then you have something called as time horizon, where you're going to do cross-section study or longitudinal study. What do you mean by cross-sectional? What do you mean by longitudinal? I study the view of what is the view of people towards IPO in India. I study in India, I study in US, cross-sectional. I study now, I study after 5 years. It is longitudinal. See, I'm giving just a rough and vague ideas for all those kind of things. Then you got to start speaking about theories. You got to start speaking about theory. One of the most important theory which you people have to think about is called as Dulani's theory. Okay, because as a commerce we have disadvantages also. We have an advantage of incorporating psychology also into our subjects. Okay, that is how commerce people have to do something called as multi-subject, multi-field researches. Can somebody tell me what is Dulani's theory? These are all of the certain things which you might not heard of, but at the same time it's very, very important. What do you mean by Dulani's theory? D-U-L-A-N-Y. Yes, I think if you're able to tell me a little bit quicker, it will be better. Okay. So Dulani theory speaks about how your behavior affects your behavior. This theory is based upon a particular model called as Tripartite Model, which was being proposed by Greek philosopher Aristotle. I think it's a very, very old model. Okay, it's being proposed by what? So what it tells is a person's how people behave in the way they behave depends upon the affective factors, cognitive factors, and then their behavioral factors. Your feelings, your emotions, your preferences, combined with your belief, knowledge, and perception, affects your behavior. And again, your behavior will affect your cognition will affect your effectiveness. For people who are trying to think what is cognition, you might know something. There's something called as recognition. Recognition is called as recognition. So can somebody tell me what is recognition? Okay, I recognize this is Kito. Okay, so this is called a recognize. I cognize is a man. What's the difference? Based on the ideas which I have, based on the societal norms, perception, a man should have a mustache, to wear pants, wear a shirt, yeah, you should have a cut, not long hair. These are the perceptions, knowledge, and beliefs. Based on that, I try to put him under a broad category as a man. Are you able to understand what is cognition? And when I redo this again and again, it's called as recognition. I think are you able to get the concept? So your cognition
is basically from your families, what your family teaches, and based on that, it will have affective factors, your feeling, your emotion, your preferences. And this will have a factor on behavior. And behavior, if the outcome of the behavior is good, again, it will affect your cognition. So it goes on. But it does not give you, does not try to give a clear relationship. That is what Dulani tried to do. And he gave a mathematical equation. And further, this mathematical equation was being developed by two particular people. One is called as Martin Fishbein, another is called as for a cell wall. They small theory of evaluation. Okay. This department of this kind of for example, move ahead. One, another is there is a person because just one factor. Martin Fishbein was very simultaneously what agree with go back to God. So taking how to speak of the active Okay, that is called as cognition and cognizing him as a man. Okay, that is called as not visualizing him and cognizing him. Cognitive theory. In social cognitive theory, I think the same thing has been assembled in a different way. Can you see what? Can you see the comparison and between theory of a plant theory? So with all this combined, financial markets, corporate governance. Okay. So what should we give the best? How can we give the best? It's clearly told agency cost theory. This agency cost theory was the vehicle of general knowledge. What I'm basically there's a lot of things. What okay now I want to see modern papers. Papers. Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank you very
sir.
much, Mr. Balaji. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Finally, I thank for Professor Ravinder Rena, his gracious presentations and valuable inputs regarding to good governance and sustainable financial markets. And I extend thanks Lieutenant Balaji with a proper explanation use of different models also. Thank you so much, Balaji sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. I'm Dr. Mahananda. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. We'll invite you once again. Thank
Sure,
you, sir.
thank
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
I once again welcome you all for technical session 2. I would like to call Mr. Shivakumar M. Richest sir to welcome and introduce the speaker and chairman of the session.
Very good afternoon to one another. Evening there is on the dance and off the dance. One and all dignitaries of the dance. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker for today's technical session 2, Dr. M. Sumati, Madam, former Dean School of Commerce, Professor and Head of Department of Commerce, Bhatiyar University, Coimbatore. Currently, Madam is a Professor and Head of Department Corporate Secretaryship and MBA Principal. Madam has great experience as Assistant Professor, Associate Professor, Head and Dean of various prestige universities. Madam is qualified with MCOM, MBA, PGDCA, SLED, MA, MPhil, PhD, and elite. She is specialist in finance, banking, and accounting. Madam has 30 years of work experience in university level. Madam completed 17 projects under various agencies of Government of India. Madam have attended 32 workshops and 16 FDP organized by various colleges and universities. Madam has attended 100 plus conference, symposium, conference and seminars. She is the chairman and member of various academic bodies. Madam is having many features to her cap in different skills and other experience and won many awards in sports and made a record. Madam has also traveled abroad like Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Bangkok for various conferences. We welcome you, ma'am. I request Dr. Mahananda B. Chittawadigi, madam, to give the token of gratitude to Dr. Smati. Thank you, ma'am. It's a great honor for me to introduce our chairperson of this, Dr. Ravinder Rena. Sir is an associated professor and head of Department of Commerce and Management. Sir worked in Canara Bank as cashier and Tungabhadra Grameena Bank as a agricultural officer. Published 10 articles in national and international journals. Sir is also BOE member of Bangalore University, BOE chair member of Bangaluru City University, BOS member of 2 autonomous college. Sir wrote 3 books for BCom and BBM, that is Management and Management. Sir is a member of ICAI New Delhi. Sir is interested in teaching and teaching. And we are happy to have you, sir, to this technical session too. We welcome you, sir. So I request Dr. Mahananda B. Chittawadigi, madam, to give the token of gratitude to us. Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. I request Dr. M, to take over the session. Thank you.
Post lunch, good afternoon to everybody. Are you brisk, all the students? All belongs to commerce and BBA, right? Okay. See, I'm not going to teach anything. Simply, we are observing and interacting. That's all. Okay. I know your difficulty after lunch. That too, after 1.5 years, we were physically meeting. We know your difficulty as teachers, as a researcher, as everything, right? Okay. So slowly we are bringing normal academic life, right? Okay. Very good afternoon to one and all assembled here, and most respected principal and the team of IQAC, as well as Department of Commerce, and the principal who chaired a session along with me for this technical session. After the inaugural, this is the second technical session. And the faculty from the neighboring institutions, as well as the research scholars and students. I hope this kind of programs are not for the purpose of the institution. It is for the purpose of the students to acquire a little bit about new things, the induction programs, about what is happening around us, especially with regard to commerce. Because before entering into our presentation, I want to I'm going to be like this. I hate teacher job when I joined MCOM, right? See, frankly speaking, I afraid of my marriage and then only I joined for MCOM. This is the truth behind my MCOM degree. Okay, I completed my BCom. Okay, I was only daughter with my brother. So they were searching for marriage, right? Immediately, I again the same institution, I joined for my MCOM degree. Right, so this is the situation happening else, for anybody like that for their higher education, and then to the research as well as the teaching. I attended one refresher course in the year 1997. There was a turning point into my research. I met my guide there, Dr. M. Sheikh Mohammed from Jamal Muhammad College at Tiruchirappalli. He retired now, and some 5-6 years back he retired. But I found a good guide as well as teacher and a religious person, Dr. M. Sheikh Mohammed from Jamal Muhammad College, Tiruchirappalli. And I started love teaching based on the inspiration from the present special courses. Some 2 years difference only, some 5 years difference only. They were into teaching. They taught us banking and what are the banking innovations like that. So we are inspiring based on the presentation as well as based on the right. So these kind of meeting will ignite something in the young minds. Okay, so that ignition should start from the way in which morning we met one young fellow, that our chief guest of today morning, keynote speaker, right? With this his age, at the age of 32, that retired person cannot imagine that whether before retiring they will attain the position of deputy commissioner in income tax department, like that, isn't it? So if you, at least if you see, morning I thought the whole class, if they are writing, all the students, if they are writing, trying to write, definitely we can pick 10 at least from this particular group, right? Settled group, either from AS or IRS, IFS, whatever they got based on their merit marks, etc. Isn't it? So in that way, we have to apply our mind, what can be done, what can be the next step, like that, right? So we are assembled here. I used to put a word with all the students learners as well as the listeners. Right? So till time I am a learner, all the teachers are as learners only. Right? So this is the way in which we are taking the time from the forum. Right? So with this few words, you think in this way, right? So today our topic, Kitu assigned me, madam, whatever the topic you want, you can take up from the list of topics, right? So very recently I found, and for your information, why I am telling you, not for the crowd shape, till I am as a learner. Why I am saying, very recently I have submitted by Doctor of Letters in Commerce, that too on e-governance practices in Tamil Nadu. Right? Last June I have submitted my thesis. One. Second thing, 10 more years of service we are right. Simply good old BCom, good old BCom CA. No, so many BComs are into the, in our Coimbatore, there is a college, reputed college called, they are having 19 BCom courses with a different nomenclature, right? BCom, BCom CA, BCom Accounting and Finance, BCom Finance and Accounting, right? BCom Professional Accounting, etc., 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 right? So each one specialized with their own. Only 2 to 3 papers are deviate from the normal BCom curriculum. That's it. Okay. So the university will not permit a number of sections for normal BCom. So they changed the nomenclature and they are expanding their market. That's all. That is the truth behind the number of courses. Okay. So this is one passion for commerce, one thing. And another thing, see, if I am a university faculty, if I am going for an inspection to the affiliated colleges, there they will be showing we have this kind of mass media and communication lab, this much pros we have invested, we have that business analytics program, right? So I thought that university must be the pioneer in the latest commerce courses. So at ignition, I started in my department MCom Financial Technology from this academic year 21-22. Right? So with that, we were waiting. You can simply go and see the syllabus from my website also, our department website. We didn't change much the semester, because in Tamil Nadu practices, everywhere it is a practice. You have to get approval equivalent from your Kerala State Council for Higher Education. Similarly, ourselves should get Tamil Nadu State Council for Higher Education. For that purpose, some papers like Introduction to Fintech, Python for Finance, Oracle and DBMS, right? So these are all the courses linked with all the Industry 4.0. That is, right, artificial intelligence, augmented reality, virtual reality, data, big data, right? So in that way, we are linking every concept with the commerce thing, 8 components, AR, VR, like that, isn't it? So in that way, it is highly possible with the commerce, with this Industry 4.0 component, including blockchain, isn't it? So this is the idea behind that particular course. Why? Because commerce have its, simply MCom have its own passion for teaching and all, right? If anybody wants to go into industry, added value for them. So because fintech is very much popular in Dubai, that all the UAE countries, 7 UAE countries, okay? So Emirates, right? So this is the vision for a particular teacher or a particular student, right? Because good old BCom is a base for another concepts. But what about the current scenario? So this fintech, why you have chosen this financial technology? What is happening around us? With this finance, we know non-banking, financial corporation, banking, insurance, stock market, capital market, mutual fund and all. So another side, what is happening? The parallel match with these financial companies with the software, right? That is called technology we are telling now. So for this purpose only, this particular topic to explore, what I come across, what I saw through the articles and through the website, right? So today our topic is the first slide, which is showing the concept of, okay, yeah, this is the combination between finance and technology, right? So that side finance, this is technology, both fintech, right? So the mixture of these two. See, one college is having, you can also raise the question also, because wherever we are going. One college, we went for the inspection and one boy asked for admission for business analytics course. Okay, I cross-verified what you are going to do with this BCom business analytics. No, madam, that commerce teachers will handle commerce-related subjects in the business analytics course. Mathematics teacher for 3,000 rupees, they are giving data science, BSc data science through online. Anybody can do. Any BCom student or any BSc, BA or BBA students, you can apply through online. You can get the video link and you can learn, attend, you can interact like that. Okay. Once you registered, automatically the classes one by one, they are uploading the video and you can self-learn and you can write the examination. You can clear BSc data science. That's all. There are 3 modules. One by one, you can complete. Even commerce can do MBA. Earlier we did that. Okay, but now you can go for the different papers, like different course, like data science, right? So this is the basic concept behind the financial technology here, fintech. So the left side, which is showing that bank, payment system, as well as the non-banking finance corporations, security broking, wealth management, and distribution system. Parallelly, the right side, these are all the technology oriented. We know software providers are there and hardware providers, and apart from the cloud providers and the platform providers. That hardware, software, little bit, and many of the things we came across. What about the cloud providers? Very recently, there is a concept of commerce, cloud business, right? Through which anybody is having the idea about cloud commerce or cloud business? Anybody? Yes. Anybody? Cloud commerce. Why we are saying it as a cloud commerce, cloud business, right? See, I can say the software providers, we can say this for all the purpose, we need one platform, right? For that particular purpose, for example, we can say for conducting the examination or admitting the student for examination, sir told us 10,000 students are there within the campus, about 10,000 students like. So we have to admit them within a period of 2 days or 3 days. It is highly possible. We have to install the software based on the capacity of the students, right? For writing one examination, 1 year or one per semester, which is required. So for that, we have to invest some 50 lakh rupee or 5 crore rupee, depends upon the capacity of the software, right? So instead of that, we can what? Hire. Instead of installing by spending 50 lakhs or 5 crore, whatever it is, we can hire the platform. We can feed the data, they will store the data and they will submit it to us, right? So for that, we have to pay a few amount as a rent. That is called software as a service. We are calling it as SaaS. So like that in commerce, so many things, cloud commerce, cloud business like that, right? So that is called the software providers. Not only that, these platform cloud providers. So what does the fintech mean? Here, it is a synergy, it is a combination between the finance and the technology, which is used to enhance the business operations and delivery of financial services. Normally, we used to go for financial services in a different way, right? That is going to happen hereafter. So, that is the basic concept behind this fintech concept. So, we can take the form of a software, a service, or a business that provides technology in an advanced way to make financial processes. So now I want to transfer the money within this room without moving anywhere. Is it possible or not? Highly possible. We know everything. We have to buy the ticket. We have for theater or air ticket or flight ticket. We know everything, and moreover, morning sir rightly pointed out, our principal rightly pointed out that even little bit only we used our mobile for watching the YouTube or sometimes watching the WhatsApp. That's all. Say good morning, good afternoon, good night, like that. Now you just imagine the situation March 2020 to till time. How many things we learned? Is it true or what? Right? We know how to create Google Meet link, how to what are the WebEx way and Cisco WebEx. So many things we have initiated, no? Right? Earlier, whether is it right? We know anything? All the platforms, all the source? No. Isn't it? So, COVID taught us very many ethical practices as well as the system. Isn't it? So, how to behave, right? Not to have so many things, right? So many concepts, frankly speaking, isn't it? Not only the academic, so many ethical and our day-to-day life thoughts. Our COVID-19 pandemic taught very many lessons to an individual, right? So this is the way. So our people as a human, we started loving each other. What is there in the world? That's all. Very many billions, millions. We saw in the media very many times, isn't it? So we must thank our parents to secure us in a different way, right? Without sending anywhere, without moving anywhere, right? So that is a scenario now. So based on this concept, I want to highlight this definition. Simply, this fintech startup technology providers which approach the financial business and innovative. Sometimes we can say it as a disruptive technology. Normally, we are using it as disruptive technology, which is nothing but through emergence, this fintech can fundamentally change the way in which a financial services, institution products as well as services. See, the authors, they have defined in the year 2015 and what they have defined, this is nothing but the technology enabled financial solution to the individual, not only to the individual as well as the companies too. See, fintech, we are looking for the past 2 years only, financial technology like that being commerce, because we are talking about the technology oriented concept. But really speaking, when we found the basic history of this financial technology, it commenced, its start in the year 1950. Just imagine, what is the story of the financial technology? In 50 only, the card money, plastic money were issued. That's all. We have our debit card, credit card, right? So card issue of credit card in the year 1950. And slowly, before our birth, 1967, first ATM machine is installed by Barclays Bank, wherever it is in the world, right? So that is the initiation of machines in abroad. Okay, next 1998, we know 1998, PayPal is introduced, and 2008, that tech like policy insurance related products, Policy Bazaar has started, and 2009, digital money, Bitcoin is introduced. But there was a debate whether Bitcoin is legally correct in India or what. Blockchain and Bitcoin is illegal, like that, isn't it? So till time Bitcoin we are avoiding because of risk. Blockchain silently it is moving on based on that. Bitcoin, there is a group called, knowingly or unknowingly, Some people, they are playing, if I know sir or I know madam, without their permission, I will create a group and I will put them into, in order to induce them for coming into the Bitcoin investment, right? But we are afraid, being a government teachers, government institution teachers, we are doubted that whether we can do or not to do. One fine day, if all the money will be swiped, hard-earned money will go, like that, isn't it? So that is the another concept called this blockchain digital money. Bitcoin is introduced, and very recently, that last 10 years back, Google Inc. introduced Google Wallet too. See, apart from this, this is the small history of this fintech and the digitization of finance. What is this digitization of finance? This digital technology, these are all the key components of this digital transformation of finance, from where to where we have moved, like that because of that high standardization. Because if we are the state board student, they are the central board student, right? Now there start the disparity between the student, right? Why? Because my son studied in CBSE pattern, means he studied all the BCom subjects, some 70%. That is true. For example, I am telling, right? So simply we can observe what is happening in BCom courses, like that, isn't it? So that is the difference. In the advanced way, we have to think, not simply a commerce. So what are all the surroundings of our commerce curricula, commerce concept, right? So this is the basic way of this digitization of finance. The concepts or components are high standardization, and the role combined with the structured process and data management structure contribute to a high standardization. Following this fintech, the financial technology, there is a high standardization in the transformation of finance one, and highly automated function. This is nothing but emerging technologies to higher automation of processes for services such as money transfer and know your customer norms too, for verification purposes, and insight driven function. Third concept is insight driven function. See, we have updated our digitization technology, higher automation processes for services such as money transfer, KYC transactions, etc. And third concept is insight-driven function. See, if we all together want to pay the examination fee or admission fee, whatever it is, the payment link will come to our mail, right? Immediately we are clicking. The students are doing like that, right? Payment link will come to our mail ID. If I am willing to join in the particular course, I can click my mouse and I can pay. By using my card, I can join as a student. At home, I can admit myself into my curriculum course. So the digitization has updated financial models so that resources are more concentrated on knowledge driving rather than merely transactions. So along with the knowledge, how to do. See, so many lost their credit card or debit card, or they got up the debit card or credit card, but they lost the money. Why? So there are so many instructions while using ATM machines. You want money, once you taken the money, you just press the cancel button, like that. Okay, earlier nobody knows. Simply they will push. If money is not coming, simply they will come out of the ATM room, and another person will enter. If they are pushing something, our money will come to him. Okay, so many incidences, so many things happen, right? Now only slowly we are, for that financial inclusion concept, we are teaching them rural-based financial inclusion to the unreached people, like that. We are creating awareness. The students are the pillars for that kind of awareness in the rural area. And apart from that, the improved customer experience, the data quality, good analytics, and a lightweight payment interfaces render customer experiences even better. And next one is better service delivery. Here, the legacy systems incorporated the emerging technology have altered the financial operating model. So the standardized, see, normally, with me or not, whatever the financial products introduced by the bank, which bank will normally do that, the introduction of new products through innovation? Any idea? Public sector banks or private sector banks? Particularly which bank? Yes. HDFC. There is one other popular bank. ICICI, HDFC, and then any other? Karur Vaishya Bank, they are doing whatever the innovative products, no. Then and that Citibank also doing, but ICICI, they have their own style of activity for, even now we can apply from our mobile, the loan we can apply. That is another tempting mechanism. If you press the button, the loan option will come, right? So many products. Now you can apply for loan like that. If you press, it will ask 3 lakh or 5 lakh rupees, right? So from this room, you can borrow the money from the bank, right? So these are all the facilities we have through the updation of activities. So the standardized processes enhance the delivery of the services. So these are all the categories of fintech. What is this? The Financial Stability Board, that FSB, which is an international body monitoring and advising on the global financial systems, divides all the fintech activities in the 5 categories only. What are they? The payment, clearing and settlement, normally which will happen in all the banking sector. Payment, clearing and settlement mechanism, normally which will happen. Deposits, lending and capital raising. Normally we used to deposit, we used to lend money through the financial institutions, and insurance that we know as a premium payer, we used to admit as a policy holder, as a customer. And investment management, we can invest in mutual funds or whatever the funds we need in the form of deposits and market support. The conditions should support us based on the criteria. So concepts. See, frankly speaking, this picture particularly depicts the insurance, capital market, wealth management, and the money transfer remittances and mortgage real estate, right? On the left side, payments, billing, personal finance, RegTech, and the blockchain, crypto, and lending pattern. So these are all the fintech trends now in commerce concepts, right? And these are all the concepts why we are talking about. For example, payment processing code develops the subscription of billing software, the tool, right? So particular way the payment, we are processing the payment means which place the payment billing concept will come. Next left side, next concept is personal finance, which is nothing but personal finance is a concept which tools to manage bills and stake personal under credit accounting. So this is the second. Third one is RegTech, which is nothing but the audit risk and liquidity compliance software. See, normally we used to invest more means you are entering into more risk. That is the basic mantra of all the investors. If I am investing more, risk is also more. Okay, so that is the RegTech concept. And the blockchain crypto, we know that companies developing the blockchain technology for the financial services. That is the another new concept. And the lending pattern, market place lending as well as the alternative underwriting platforms also. See, this is the area in which we have to concentrate already, but with the help of the software. On the right side, we are talking about the insurance. The companies selling the insurance and digitally are providing data analysis as well as the software. And while talking about the capital market too, see all the activities of industry, business, everything will come under the particular roof. What are all the activities can be possible through the financial technology? This sales, trading analysis, and infrastructure tool for financial institutions. Another concept is wealth management, which is nothing but investment as well as wealth management platforms and analytics tools also possible. And the third next concept is international money transfer as well as tracking software is also possible. And finally, the mortgage real estate, mortgage lending and digitization and financing platform is also possible under the fintech trends. So these are all the recent activities with the help of the software. See, the next slide is also showing about these are all the pillars of the fintech ecosystem. See, we are talking about the fintech ecosystem. We are a part of it. The college students as well as the university students, we are also a part of it in the pillars of a fintech ecosystem. Here, what is the role, madam? What we have to do? Simply, we can study what to do. We have to apply, we have to use, we have to utilize the financial technology system, right? No, I have to go to the railway station and I will book the ticket. I won't believe this card and the payment like this, right? We have not adopted the particular system. I have to go to the cinema theater. I have to stand on the line. I will stand on the line and I will purchase my ticket like that. Isn't it? Just imagine how they have simplified our lifestyle. So many people are telling that I never ever entered into the bank so far. For the past 3 years, 5 years, I don't know where is my passbook. Like that. So many statements are coming because of this digitization of finance, right? So these are all the particular pillars of the fintech ecosystem. The one thing, universities and research institutions, we have to contribute, we have to support the fintech community by strengthening and assisting early stage companies and producing more talented workshops, right? We have to conduct this kind of workshop to sensitize the students as well as see if the teachers are sensitizing the student. If you go, no, ma, you don't call the gas wala for your gas obligations. I will kindly bring, I will book the gas by sitting at home, right? So then and there we are teaching. Like, for your information, my father is 75 plus. My 2 sons taught him, right, how to cook through YouTube during the pandemic period, right? How to see all the transaction, how to make the video call. It is real, okay? But earlier what we did, only they normally use the button phone, isn't it? Now they learn, all the grandfathers and grandmas, they learn how to make video call, audio call through WhatsApp. That workforce also we have to adopt, and government and regulations. Here, the government should accept. If Bitcoin is good, we have to accept based on the testing, or if blockchain is good, we have to adopt and accept based on the testing. We have to make it legal if it is good. Okay, so protect the consumers through the appropriate rules as well as provide supports, incentives in help the fintech grow. And apart from that, the angels, voluntary consumers, and the PE houses are all looking at the fintech as a viable investment. Through this media, if I am seeing, nobody will believe the ATM machines. I want to deposit 10,000 rupees. But the people or bankers are telling you can come to the ATM machines, you can deposit 10,000 rupees. Whether we believe, see, without knowing to anybody, how can we throw the money into the ATM box, filling the chellar? We can withdraw money, but we can't, what? We won't believe the machine for depositing our money, right? We can transfer the money from one mobile to another mobile like that, but we won't deposit physically through the ATM machines. We will hesitate because of the fear. Okay, so the reliability is there, and financial playing an important role, like the banks are currently determining a suitable approach to engage with the fintech companies and the leverage their innovation. They are doing now, right? And the third one is through the incubators, startups, incubators and financial incubators and accelerators and innovation labs have to offer a means for big business to enlarge and assist young companies to meet their potentials. Apart from that, the tech vendors also playing an important role to seven fintech themes are also there based on the presentation. One article we prepared. This is the fintech themes, 7 fintech themes. What are they? Next generation payments. We have to identify the alternative. See, so many startups were identified by the students of the institution. Do you know that? Some idea, some alternative idea to the particular thing. Okay, so it should come from the young minds. That is called innovation, right? If you are creating, deviating from the existing idea in a better way, that is it is startups. So these are all the 7 concepts, which is nothing but next generation payments. And the P2P lending concept is there. That is nothing but the peer-to-peer lending concept. See here, the 20 new peer-to-peer lenders in India in the year 2015 on the verge of entering the regulatory paradigm, because lending to individual or lending to business through online. We can, that recordically, we are transferring the money either to the individual or through a particular group through online. That is called the peer-to-peer lending. And bank in a box, which is nothing but regional rural banks creating a surge in demand. Non-financing corporations leveraging the technology stake of service providers. And next one is financial inclusion. Because in the year 2015 and 16, we introduced and we did the research under the the role of post office through the financial inclusion concept. Role of banks through financial inclusion, like that, isn't it? So financial inclusion, which is nothing but reaching the unreached person in the rural area, right? So the financial inclusion is the which we can bring very many ideas to the rural people. And blockchain is another concept that is industry coming together and exploring different hypotheses throughout the hackathons, like that. And the Indian IT companies, they're venturing into blockchain by opening innovation labs, right? Some 4 years back, I attended one management development program in Bangaluru exclusively for the topic blockchain. Do you know that? Okay, so wherever the innovative thing relating to our area, we have to at least self-learn. What is that? What is the next step? What can be done? For your information, why I wanted to share this one. During this pandemic period, all the universities are advised to come under the new education policy, right? So normally all the teachers, if madam is there, she will worry about their own curricula, their own syllabus, their own students, like that. If I am the head of the department, I will take care of faculty, my students, my syllabus, that's all. One fine day, new education policy come, our vice chancellor called all of us. So all the affiliated colleges, they have to do the curricula under OBE pattern, outcome-based education. So we have to go the program outcome and course outcome. So many things, right? What are all the online YouTube link, and what are all the online courses available for the particular topic, like that. E-books are available, reference books available, so many things. So we were started the work for our syllabus and completed. And affiliated colleges should be taken care of, the affiliated colleges chairman for board of studies, right? They didn't turn up. They are not willing to modify the syllabus. No, sir. During pandemic, it is not possible through online, so we can change the syllabus the next time, right? So there comes, normally what will be the question will come in our mind. Any one of you? Why we have have to change the syllabus this year because of the pandemic period. We are working online. It's very difficult to join through online like that. Okay, immediately what will come to our mind or as an authority? Okay. Yes. Then if I am the owner of the institution, right, I want to develop my institution as a big, according to the current scenario, current changes, right? If you are answering me like this, what will be the next question? Whoever it is, it may be me. If I am telling no, during this year it's not possible like that, what will be the next question? So one big shot raised the question during the same pandemic. The government from their treasury to all the faculty members. If that is possible, this is also possible. That is a reasonable query for everybody. If we are the owner or if we are getting salary, if I am the owner or sir is the owner, whoever it is. Okay. And then after a struggle, they didn't come to the the line results not up to the level of expectation. So Vice Chancellor appointed the internal members as the representative for the particular group. We have gone through the syllabi. Now we are, which taxation is popular now? Yes, GST, right? What about the VAT? Abolished when? 2000? Before 2017, we abolished the VAT, right? Till last June, in their syllabus, VAT was there. Right? See, I want to make my son to become the updated scholar in all the aspects. Okay, I want to make my son like a wonderful person in the curricula and in terms of everything. Right? The same children of some parents, they are coming and learning. Right? Say, I don't want to change the syllabus. Okay, so that time we observed till that time VAT has not been changed from their curricula. We shocked. Okay, till time Vice Chancellor is mentioning that particular college, oh, kindly remove your mask, sir. I want to see your face like that. Okay, so that is the attitude. So we have to work at par with the current requirement of the students. If we need value-added courses, we have to enter into value-added programs. If we want the other related pedagogy or what is called that objective type question, Bloom's taxonomy, right? We have to enter into those particular structure of our curricula as well as the syllabi, isn't it? So in that way, we have to updating this one that is called the robo advisory. This minuscule at present, its applicability in gaining ground. See, apart from this, the security and biometric system gaining ground with banks exploring voice recognition systems. See, already we came across the iris, right? That eye scanner, right? If I want to get my visa in any Arabic countries, my vision, I mean my eyes will be scanned. In India, the same way it should reflect wherever I move. The same way in Dubai or Sharjah, wherever it is. Again, if they are scanning, both should match with that is called iris identification, isn't it? So these are all the areas for voice recognition also, right? One movie also we have observed by Rajini, Cool Baby, like that, isn't it? So it will open. That is the passcode for their laptop. Like that, voice recognition should be there, right? So that is the concept behind the voice recognition too, and the fintech industry factors behind the growth in India. I think very few slides I have to move up. And this is the fintech industry factors behind the growth in India, especially. And about very recently that the Indian, this is the latest data, currently valued at $31 billion will grow to $84 billion by the year 2025 at the CAGR compound rate of 22%. In 2020 last year, Fintech SaaS, that is software as a service, and InsurTech saw total investments of $145 million and $215 million respectively, representing 4 to 5x growth, 5 times growth over the year 2015 funding flow. So these are all the status which is showing that everybody is moving towards the technology that is broking fintechs, 5 insurtechs and 8 SaaS fintechs. They have upgraded their status, and now we are using by our mobile UPI is expected to grow significantly with the participation of domestic and international players like Paytm and Walmart and Google, continuing to dominate the segment with a heavy focus on development, the payments infrastructure through the investment system too. See, this India fintech startups making waves in the financial sector in the year 2021, which is nothing but the recent, what are all the list we can see. This is Lending Card is another one, and Money Tap, we know that familiar payment system only, right? What are they? Bill desk, etc. Whenever we are going to pay the TANGEDCO, I mean the electricity bill, bill desk will appear. Okay, no fee for debit cards and minimum payment for credit cards like that, bill desk. So Lending Card is one, Money Tap is another one. Apart from that, the Paytm, we know, little bit familiar, and Policy Bazaar for insurance purposes. And so these are all the items through which we are doing. Apart from that, these are all the other fintech startups. So frankly speaking, the students like you, right? They are, if you are very familiar with any software, right? You try on your own another software for this financing purpose, right? So through the people like you, the students like you, the young minds only, they can create this kind of startups that is called the fintech startups, financial startups. That is Razorpay, Upstarts, ET Money, Instamojo, and then MobiQuick, and Pine Labs and UPI, that is Unified Payment Interface, that is called our Bharat Pay also. Okay, so these are all the, we are talking about the graduate attributes, right? Like the same thing, these are all the fintech attributes. In finance, the one is entrepreneurial and innovation mindset we must have, and government programs as well as incentives. See, our government, approximately our central government for the past 5 more years, how many schemes they have introduced? Any idea? Any idea? That's Skill India, Make in India, right? Like the same, any rough picture, the government initiative schemes very recently by the central government till time, I don't know, while talking with this 5 seconds or 10 seconds, they may introduce some 2 more schemes, right? Atmanirbhar Bharat, so many, isn't it? For agricultural purpose, water maintenance purpose, approximately how many you can, any possibility, any number, any guess? I can say I didn't count, but I can say there are 157 pages which ownership through the government fund, you can do anything, any wonders through which. Okay, so this is the basic concept behind these are all the attributes of successful fintech, and the government programs as well as the incentive, technology readiness, and regulatory support. Regulatory means government regulatory support, and the business environment and funding opportunity should be there. Without everything, without funding, we can't do anything. So there must be funding opportunities. And finally, before concluding my point, these are all the key challenges for our Indian fintech industry. What are all the challenges? We can say that the regulations relating to act to foster innovation. So we have to adopt for the current changes. That is one. Second concept is gain trust as well as improve the perception through the literacy. Second concept. Third one is financial infrastructure and utilities. Right? See, if I want to write all my entries in the banking register, that is not needed now. So that kind of software facility should be enabled by the banker for the purpose of working towards the fintech purpose. And the fourth concept is cyber and data security. Right? The banker should not reveal. They have to have our own security system. Right? If I am asking about the banking details of somebody, the bank should not reveal in the physical payment system. But the similar way, the data security should be tightened, right? For any, like now it is tightened through the OTP, right? Etc. Like the same, anything, any fingerprint or iris print, whatever it is, it should be there. So cyber and data security should be there. And before concluding my remarks, this fintech companies could address a few critical structural issues affecting the Indian financial services. So many things, so many advantages. One, second concept is to develop the unique and innovative models of assessing the risk, right? What are all the risks involved? For that risks, what are all the ways we have to develop the criteria for reducing the risk? That is the second concept. Third one is create a more diverse and secured and stable financial services landscape. That is very, very important. Our financial services must be secured and saved by the institutions concerned. And finally, just as incumbents have a lot to learn from emerging fintech companies, but fintech companies can also learn and adopt best practices around risk and internal controls, operations excellence, compliance culture, and employee engagement that has stood the test of time for most of the banks and financial service providers in India. So with this, so anything is possible with the proper planning and utilization. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam, for your wonderful speech. Now let's start the paper presentations. Good governance and sustainable financial markets. The first presenter will be Lavanya B, research scholar, Department of Computer Science. Followed by Nayana. Nayana, second year MCOM, Jnanajyoti Degree College. Second or last? Not take much, no, but not much.
I do using Arima. Good afternoon, everybody. Today, efficiency using Arima. My name is Lavanya B. Okay. So abstract. In recent years, the desirability and investment of mid-caps is increased. It is increased by whether the market is an efficient market. So for that, we have to analyze that we require certain techniques. Certain time series analysis must take place. So one of the time series analysis take my paper is nothing but Arima. So I'm trying to analyze the Indian market. That's the market efficiency of mid-cap, of Nifty mid-cap, and to determine whether the market is efficient or inefficient. So to understand for the purpose of investment, first thing which you have to understand is efficient market hypothesis. So what happens is stock prices generally move in a random pattern. So we know it is very highly impossible market. So what happens is as soon as a new information enters the stock market, the information can be known easily by these investors, these traders who are having years of experience. They will know which time to invest and which time not to invest. So those people will have a higher upper hand in it. So to achieve higher gains is very difficult in this stock market. Now, the objective of the study is to determine the market efficiency of Indian stock market for Nifty mid-cap index high frequency data using Arima technique. So we'll understand a little bit of the literature review. So according to Aurora 2017, she's told she's referred this theory, and she's told that the stock market prices generally move in a random walk, and it is high gains to attain in the stock market is really difficult. So studies are being conducted in Indian stock market with respect to Indian stock market to provide efficient market, to provide productive market hypothesis. And also that is Srinivasan 2010 conducted two experiments, that is ADF and PP tests using low frequency data to show that Indian stock market is inefficient. And there are certain other studies, certain other research. So that is the main area for which I focus, that we have to understand whether the market is an efficient or inefficient market, and thereafter, if we invest, we can get high results. Okay, so the research methodology which I am following is basically my research is analytical in nature, and I am using Nifty mid-cap data. I have used around 2,000 entries, and the data set I've taken is 1 minute time interval data, because many of the researchers which have been taken place before have used low frequency, which is having not a high frequency data. It is low data which they have taken. My data is 1 minute time data. So the prediction level will definitely increase and the returns also we can predict easily. Now I am using this paper, I am using two tests. One is augmented Dickey-Fuller test and first log difference test to test the stationarity of my data. Then after that, I am going to use the ARIMA technique to determine whether the market is an efficient market where I can invest and get high gains or not. So results and discussion. I'm using 1 minute data, so you can see that there's high fluctuation in the data taking place, and suddenly the spike is going down. This is due to the corona effect. Now, in order to do this time series analysis, when you are doing this ARIMA, we have to have something called this is stationary data. In order to know whether the data is stationary or not, we have to perform several tests before doing ARIMA technique. So one of the things which we have to do is augmented Dickey-Fuller test. But in order to do the test, we need to know whether the data has a unit root or not. So we'll develop a hypothesis. Develop a null hypothesis and we develop an alternative hypothesis. So in null hypothesis, we will consider whether the unit root exists or not. And an alternative hypothesis, the unit root does not exist. Okay, so those are the two hypotheses. Based on that hypothesis, we are doing this augmented Dickey-Fuller test. So we can see that the statistical value, that is with respect to 0.5, the statistical value is decreasing. And then we can get an understanding that the Nifty Midcap Index series at this level is series with the trend and deterministic trend also is existing. Now we have to, because this if we didn't get a stationary series, now we have to go for the next test, that is the test for the log difference return series. When we do this log difference return series, we can see that the value of this of the test statistic is greater than the p value. Then we are getting a stationary data, that is we are getting a stationary graph. Then we can definitely plot the return series. So this is how the return series is. So we can see that due to corona, the market is gone down. Now, after doing all these tests, we are coming to something called as ARIMA. So what is ARIMA? ARIMA is nothing but autoregressive integrated moving averages. So we can divide into two. One is autoregression and another one is moving averages. Autoregression takes place. We are going to study the data with respect to previous values. And moving averages is the new values, that's just the new state. These two things, and we are getting ARIMA. So in order to do this ARIMA manually is a huge task. So using R package and using Hinma package, and with that, and it will give an auto trace series. With that, I am doing this ARIMA test, and then I have understood that we are taking the lowest value. Our lowest value we are taking with respect to Akain criterion. Our lowest value, what we are going to get is we are getting a model, and the model which I selected is, which is having a low value, is ARIMA 510 model. So when I have selected this model, I can determine whether the market is an efficient or an inefficient market. So this is my paper for which I have done. So I have got this ARIMA residuals plot, and over here we had the mean this value is getting retraced and the variance is remaining constant. ARIMA residuals plot which I have got. Conclusion. So there are variety of time series model. So this is one of the initial models which I have taken for my research. In future, what I'm planning to do is I'm going to connect this with an artificial neural network, and thereby I want to predict high values of this stock market. So that is the purpose. So thank you.
Thank you, Lavanya. The next presenter is Naina. The next presenter is Shivraju, CD, Government First Grade College, Mysore.
Yeah. I feel I'm on odd man out here, but I was interested in e-governance and sustainable development. This is my research area, and I'm in the morning. Principals are telling your contribution should be the agriculture growth of the country. And just now, Samadhi Madam also focused on technical ICT, information technology service in providing financial service. Taking these two concepts, agriculture and technology, the concept called e-governance. For me, as a student of public administration and public policy, this is a passion and buzzword. Morning, or Abhishek sir was telling. In fact, I also appeared for a UPSC interview along with him, but he cracked it. My destiny was here in this goal. ICT, and what are the impacts of e-governance in Karnataka land administration, and what led to and what are the lessons we learned from the ICT initiatives. If we go back to the 2000 back, especially when S.M. Krishna sir was the chief minister, it was in the news. Karnataka was making, huge contribution in the field of ICT. Then at the same time, there were a lot of problems as far as land administration is concerned. So first of them is opaqueness and unaccountability, irresponsibility, and so many issues were there. And corruption was rampant. There was rampant corruption, especially in land administration. So keeping these in mind, in 2001, nearly 20 million land records of 7 million farmers of Karnataka were digitized. So what led to the reason, then how it is going to benefit for this country, especially this state? We know that nearly 61% of this population of this state lives in rural area. Out of that, 55% depend on agriculture for their livelihood. So keeping these two things in my mind, so I'm going to analyze why land is important for like farmers and like me and others. Land is an asset, is it a wealth, it is a status. So there are so many issues associated with the land. In fact, people are having emotional attachment and such an emotional attachment with the land. So taking away land is a big and a huge exercise for the government. However, there are a lot of loopholes and corruptions are still rampant in the land administration. So this is the reason which I decided to take the role of governance in land administration. For this, along with my friend, I did 2 empirical studies, keeping Tumkur and Dakshin Kannada district. Why I took Tumkur and Dakshin Kannada district is, Tumkur is the second largest district in the Karnataka, which is having highest number of villages. And Dakshin Kannada is the first district in the country, not only in Karnataka, which effectively implemented land reforms. So therefore, I want to know how these 2 districts effectively implemented land policies and with the help of ICT technology. So So these are the objectives. Yeah. For this empirical study, we took this much of farmers, 200 farmers from Dakshin Canada, 200 farmers from Tumku. And the speciality of this study is most of the researchers from different perspectives like political science, commerce, economics, sociology. They'll take only farmers or clients. But in our study, we try to cover bureaucracy also. Look at this. Here we have like so many Bhumi consultants and so many assistant commissioners, tahsildars, deputy commissioners. We included them also in our study to know what exactly the ICT has contributed in the development or growth of the Karnataka. So we have studied 3 different initiatives, that is Bhumi, Kaveri, and Mojini. I want to clarify here what is Bhumi and Mojini and Kaveri. Bhumi is a land record, digitized land record portal where we get 16 information in a single format called RTC, rights, tenancy, and certificate. And Kaveri is a land registration process. So earlier we need to go to the sub-register office. You know, when we were in UG, people wanted to become, they were telling only 2 things. I want to become sub-registrar or sub-inspector. Because of, you know, the reason why sub-registrar and sub-registrar. And the third one is Mojini. That is, Mojini means measurement. You know, most of the land disputes, land litigations rises because of erratic land records. In fact, the Supreme Court of India held that it wasted majority of the constructive hours of the code because of the mismanagement of land records. To merge these three, Government of Karnataka initiated called Bhumi, Kaveri, Mojini. Bhumi is a land digitized land record. Kaveri is a land processing initiative. Mojini is a land record management and measurement. So these are the workforce which works at the Bhumi. So I don't want to narrate the whole story. Yeah. So this is the best example how land record was before digitization and after digitization. So this is the story of the land record before digitization, and this is the story of after. So now ICT has contributed significantly in process or in delivering services in easy, accessible manner. So I have taken until 2016, actually, 17 of. Just I wanted to know how many digital land records were issued for the people of Karnataka. So nearly more than 25 billion land records have been issued up to 2016. After 2020-19, because of this corona, I couldn't collect information. And they were telling that there is not that much of growth in this area. And mutations, the transportation of legal rights, land transportation, nearly more than 25 lakh land transportation will take place with the help of these 3 key initiatives. Our land records were linked with bank and land acquisition agency. You will know that if you are a son of or daughter of farmer, you will come to know that if I want to take a loan from the bank, we have to pledge our RTC, our land records. But there were so many mismatches, though there are so many loopholes in the land records also. Now, as I told you earlier, that Bhumi in the portal, land record is linked with the bank. By just enter into the survey number, the bank authority can access what type of land you are having and what crop you are growing and what are the dimensions and everything in it. Based on the digital record, they can issue or you can avail the loan. And another thing is, even you cannot change. You are commerce students, you know what is a bad loan and how farmers suicide, what happened, but the farmer really use the bad loans for their agriculture growth and all these things. But with a small land record, they can assess, they can avail the loan facilities just because they link this land record with the bank. Before that, they need to approach VA, village accountant, and other revenue officials, and so many bank officials. But today, just by a click, mouse click, they can access services. So Another important thing is land acquisition. So you know that suppose if somebody wants to construct a road or a dam, something else, it was a big exercise. It's not people that won't rate it that much, and they will claim that my land is this much, you are giving only compensation for this much amount. But with the help of this Bhumi, Kaveri, and Mojini, now it's very easy to government to acquire the land and give compensation at right time. So, and another important, which I have not completed, and the recent government has taken initiative, crop updating. What is that crop updating means? Just we will take the mobile by clicking, entering the Aadhaar number, we will go to the field. We will just update what crop is growing in the field. So with the help of this, so what we are going to do is how, just a minute. Yeah, with the help of these e-initiatives, Bhumi, Kaveri, and Mojini, Government of Karnataka merged this revenue department, registration department, and survey. So actually, this data is missing here. I don't know what happened actually. That is my field study. How transparency, accountability, and efficiency, speed of service delivery was maintained in this data. Pie chart and bar graph is missing. I'm sorry, I couldn't able to make it. I don't know what happened so finally, I want to know that so the application of ICT in governance has enhanced transparency, accountability, and speed in delivery of services. And some of the services delivered by the land administration of the state have made a significant impact on the farmers, especially reducing cost, some when physical visit of the department, and so many things. But however, still there are many more to learn. Even my study and just 2 years back, there was a study done by some NGO. So Karnataka still stands first in corruption. That makes a lot actually. Even in our study also, when we got a response from the farmers and bureaucracy, we were telling, we received this statement that still corruption is working. So there we need to think, despite e-initiative and so many things, and morning also sir was telling so many things and issues corruption, even the delegate from South Africa was also telling. So that hurts me a lot, and we need to think towards that. Thank you so much for providing and giving our.
Thank you, Shivraj sir. The next presenter is Naina, second year MCOM, Jyoti Degree College, followed by Raksha Parameshwari. And presenters, you will be given only 4 minutes of time to present your papers. Presenters, you'll be having 4 plus 1 minute for presenting your papers. Any problem? Raksha Parameshwari, Hemalata Yadav, Assistant Professor, SV Benedict's Academy, Kengeri.
Different green. Good afternoon, one and all here. Myself, Hemlata Yadav J. So I'm from St. Bernardine Academy, Panchapalya. So my research topic is a study on contemporary issues and challenges in MSME. So here is abstract. MSME is a sector has emerged a significant role in development of socio-economic development of a country, and it gives more contribution. 45% is industrial output, 40% of exports, and employing 110 millions of people, generating employment opportunity and creating 1.3 million jobs every year. It produces more than 8,000 quality products for the India and international market itself. And its contribute towards the GDP to 2021 is 29%. And my paper is all the attempts to analyze the various issues and challenges related to MSME in India. So basically, I go a glimpse of India's MSME sectors according to the 73rd round and the national sample survey. MSME sector is the Indian comprises 633.88 lakhs units, an enormous opportunity for employment at the lower capital cost in MSME sectors as compared to the large industry, and it initiates like my MSME, MSME Sambandh, and MSME Samvadan and memorandum are built to support MSME for the free flow of information and resolve the payment related issues. And credit support also have given supporting to the MSME sectors through the PM's employment generation program, where approximately 1,000 crores have been provided to 32,200 micro units. And even credit linked capitals were based trust of 27,192 crores for 4,07,209. The MSME sectors are giving more opportunity to develop this sector. So the main highlights of about I will come with the definition. What is MSME? MSME, according to 2006 Act, have come into the two sectors. One is manufacturing enterprises and another is service enterprises. So manufacturing enterprises, basically the manufacturing or producing of product, goods pertaining to any industry specified in the first schedule to the industries, and service enterprises engaged in providing service, rendering services are defined in the terms of investments in equipments. Yeah, that I use in the so the research methodology in my paper, the research paper is a descriptive in nature, based on the secondary data. The secondary data collection was based on the various sources such as newspaper, article, internet websites, etc. The collection of data information is processed for understanding the current scenario. The explanation of data is a more qualitative than on the qualitative in terms. So the main objective of my the paper study is to review the challenges to be faced by and to know the overview and the performance of MSME sector and to evaluate the opportunities in India. And these are the contributes where our MSME sectors are given economically the social development to hold the keys in inclusive growth and plays a vital crucial role in Indian futures. And the challenges are under MSMEs are the absence of the adequate and timely banking finance and limited capital, knowledge, and lack of technology and non-availability of suitable. And these are the challenges, and opportunities are there. And my conclusion is that the government are still policies are also keeping on changing with the changes of God at the center. Within this limit, the sector has to grow to all certain hidden challenges are faced by the MSME as to little more government policy has to be initiated to grow for the MSME sectors.
Thank you, Hemlata. The next presenter is Naina and followed by Mamta. Mamta. Mamta MN Soundarya Institute of Management and Science. Tanuja B, Assistant Professor, Soundarya Institute of Management Science. Punit Kumar, followed by Good evening to one and all. My name is Vidya Naik. I'm from Nanajoti Degree College. I'm from final year MCom. My name is Naina Casey from Nanajoti Degree College. We both are presenting the paper on a study of e-banking services, that is digital banking services with reference to public sector banks. Next. Introduction. Here, bank playing a vital role in the development of nation, building the economy nation. Here, it will provide a new services to the customer to maximize the profit and also to meet the customer financial needs. Research methodology, the primary source of data. We have adapted descriptive and exploratory type of research. From this research, we studied that many of them came to know about the digital banking services. Majority of customers are satisfied of digital banking services. Thank you. Recommendation institution must take an important step for securities and safety of the digital banking services, providing basic knowledge for the using digital banking services for rural areas. Conclusion, the above research we can clarify shows that digital banking services in Indian banks have reached a high level and the majority of the customers are awareness of digital banking services, satisfaction of the services. Thank you.
This digital PG students, but the screen is big, but the font size is very small. It's not visible. So make the practice of right, make a register what is the appearance of the slide. Right?
Thank you, Naina. The next presenter is Punit Kumar DG, Government First Grade College, followed by Nitin SN. Nitin.
Good afternoon, everyone.
I am Punit Kumar DG, Assistant Professor from Government First Aid College, Varamsagar. Today I am presenting my paper, Relationship between Awareness Level and Investment Intentions of Retail Investors Towards the Corporate Bond Market. As per the statement made by the chairman of the SEBI, Ajay Tyagi, one of the most crucial element of Indian capital market is corporate bond market. Corporate bond market in India is majorly dominated by the institutional investors and with a lack of retail participation. And this is due to the lack of awareness about the product among the retail investors in India. Corporate bonds can act as an auxiliary investment avenue for the investors with a fixed and regular income. But due to lack of awareness, the people are hesitating to invest in the corporate bonds. And with this major problem, I have taken under this study with an objective to determine the awareness level of the retail investors towards the corporate bond market, and to determine the relationship between the awareness and investment intentions among the retail investors. Research I have framed a hypothesis. There is no significant relationship between the awareness and as well as investment intentions towards the corporate bond, and alternative hypothesis. And for this purpose, I have undertaken a survey with a structured questionnaire between the January to June 2021. Since the population size is unknown, I have taken the sample size for this study as 400 based on the Crazy Morgan table, and the respondents were chosen on the basis of stratified random sampling from the 4 cities with a municipal corporation in Karnataka, that is Bangaluru, Mangalore, Davangere, and Hubli. This is based on the SEBI's investors survey report 2015, where they stated that the investment activities is high in the Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities in India. And the findings of the study is the level of awareness is average among the respondents. Most of the respondents are having the average knowledge regarding the corporate bonds, and most of them are having a below average and as well as a very low knowledge regarding the corporate bonds. And during the survey, I found that many of them have just heard the name of corporate bonds, but they don't know any further details regarding the corporate bonds. This is one of the finding. The next thing is I further inquired about the various other aspects of the corporate bonds, which are very much important for the making the investment decisions with the corporate bonds. That is regarding the primary issue of corporate bonds, secondary trading, and various kinds of the corporate bonds, direct and as well as indirect investment in the corporate bonds, and the risk which are associated with the corporate bonds, and corporate bond yields, bond ratings, and corporate bond index. So regarding all these aspects, when I inquired with the respondents, the mean score says that they are having the only average knowledge regarding the corporate bonds, and most of them are having a below average and as well as very low awareness regarding these aspects of the corporate bonds. And this shows that because of the lack of financial knowledge regarding the corporate bonds, the retail investors are hesitating and they are not taking part in investing in the corporate bonds. And next, to know the investment intentions of the retail investors towards the corporate bonds, I have gone with these 5 statements which shows the investment intentions. And most of the respondents have given the investment intention as they are not yet invested, but they wish to invest in corporate bonds if they are provided with the further knowledge regarding the corporate bonds. And this is the another major finding of my study. And also, when I went to check the hypothesis, I have adopted the chi-square test, and the results shows that null hypothesis is rejected. Hence, there is a strong relationship between the awareness and as well as the investment intention towards the corporate bonds. And thus, I am going to conclude that the majority of the respondents have average and below average knowledge regarding the corporate. And most of the respondents have positive intention towards the investing in corporate bonds, but the problem is awareness. If their awareness is created, the more number of the retail investors can start their investment in the corporate bonds, which is very much crucial, because the corporate bond yields are very good when compared to the bank yields. But presently, you know that one of the biggest public sector bank is offering only the maximum 5 or 5.5% interest rates on FDs. But the average corporate bond market yield with respect to the AAA rated bonds is around 11%, which is nearly double the interest rate which is offered by the public sector banks. So this is the major benefit to the investors, and also the corporate bonds are going to come with a various innovative features than the traditional just investment awareness. So thank you. This is
Thank you, Punit Kumar sir. I request the next presenter, Maruti sir, to next presenter, Purushottam.
Good afternoon, all present here, dignitaries, respected dignitaries of the dais. I am Purnachandra, research scholar and new researcher to the Bangalore University under the guidance of Dr. R. Sarvamangala ma'am, professor of Department of Commerce, Bangalore University. My study, it's all about study on emergence of neobanks, fintech disruption in banking sector. It's my fortunate that presenting my paper in front of the knowledgeable has covered all the fintech concept in the whatever the trending concept in the world as well as in India. My study, I would have taken only one small part of that fintech startups in India as well as the globe. My study, it's all about descriptive in nature. Before going to that, I will speak about the neobanks. It is a branchless bank. It is also called as mobile-only banking. They don't have physical branches. They will provide banking services through mobile phones. We are all know that UPI payments, when they came into existence, there were many who have not used that UPI payment, but that now it is the UPI payment is just included in our social life also. It is included in the market. It also included in the society. Just neobank, it is an extension part of the UPI payment. Along with the payment facility, it is also providing management software as well as GST compliance software, payroll management system, all these things. The new banking concept, they were not only concentrating on the banking aspect, and also they were concentrating on other existing licensed bank. I hope all of you know that SBI YONO application, mobile application that provide the account facility and other facility also. Along with that, Portec 811 as well as DBS from Digibank. This is a digital unit of the existing bank. This is the second model. And major companies, neobanks are in the partnership model. In India, 35 neobanks, only 3 are the digital unit of the traditional banks. So where Open, which is established in Bangalore, they were providing the account facilities specially for the MSMEs. And going to the next concept, the review of literature, where I will highlight only one study in 2020. The European, they have studied that the cost of acquisition of the traditional bank, it is around $200. Where it in case of neobanks, cost of acquisition of a one customer, it's around $1 to $38. It actually save much of the cost. So cost is equal. Of fintech, especially China as well as the India. So Indian neo banking perspective, again, India has been raised $139.8 million, and only Reserve Pay, it has started the neo banking concept. Reserve Pay, yes, it is a neo banking concept. And India at presently, there are 35 neo banks. From 2016, it has gained
Good evening, everyone. So, since morning, it is raining heavily, and even thunder in the area of sustainable financial markets and governance, and still this particular event is going to attract your attention. This is really, I feel, a good governance. Right. So, but wonderful way, let it be. Really, just naturally, Kannada comes to my mouth because of my practice in the college. Since I'm serving in government college, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಗುಡ್ ಗವರ್ನೆನ್ಸ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆಯಿಂದ the people who have spoke, there we can find some good governance. For example, Mr. Avilash Ratkal, see Abhishek Ratkal, basically science student, okay, and wrote a doctor, and wrote the UPSC examination probably by taking public administration or something arts related topics, and at the end focusing on balance sheet, right? All this has happened because of good governance, I believe. Okay, so that is the focus. So that's all I want to tell. And next, Professor Sumati Madam, she has presented the things in a wonderful way, especially highlight about data science coverage, its importance, and need-based learning, especially what we have learned during the period of pandemic and all, and details of digitalization of finance and all, Fintech trends, and also and 7 fintech themes and also has presented. So these are what I have seen since morning. ವಿಶೇಷ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ just I want to tell in ಕನ್ನಡ only. PhD ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಗೈಡು ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಭೋಗಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಗುಲ್ಬರ್ಗದಲ್ಲಿ. ನಾನು ಇದನ್ನ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳಕ್ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲೇ ನಿಮಿಷ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಚಂದ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಅದು. ಸೊ therefore I am telling in ಕನ್ನಡ only. ನಾನು ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ MPhil ಗೆ ಸೇರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಭೋಗಪ್ಪ ಸರ್ taught me research methodology for 6 months sitting in front of him. So ಅವಾಗ 6 ತಿಂಗಳ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ನಮ್ಗೆ. ನಾನು ಆನೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಕೊನೆಗೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ತಿಳಿಯಿತು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ I did not understand incomplete because I have seen some of the research presenters here. ನಾನು ಯಾರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೋಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ವಾಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಆಲ್ ಅಬೌಟ್. ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಮೆಥಡಾಲಜಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಆ ಪೇಪರ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಫೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಟು ದಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್. ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಹೆಂಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು, ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು, ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಆ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಬರ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್. ಮೆಥಡಾಲಜಿ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ದ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿಂಗ್ ಔಟ್ ದ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್. ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಗೆ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಇಂದ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಮೆಥಡಾಲಜಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅಥವಾ PhD ಪ್ರಬಂಧ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಹಳ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಬಹುಶಃ ನನಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ಹೌ ಫಾರ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟ್ರೂ, ನನಗೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಂತ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಯಾವ ಪುಸ್ತಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬಹುಶಃ ಅವ್ರ ಬಾಯಿಂದ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಫೈನಲ್. ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ. ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಓದಬೇಕು, ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಕೇಳಬೇಕು, ಚರ್ಚಿಸಬೇಕು, ಪರೀಕ್ಷಿಸಬೇಕು, ಬರಿಬೇಕು, ಬಟ್ ಬರೆದದ್ದು ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬನಿಗೂ ತಿಳಿಯುವಂಗೆ ಇರಬೇಕು. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ನಾನು ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೂ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಓದ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಫಾರ್ ವಿಚ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಟ್ರೈಂಗ್ ಟು ಫೈಂಡ್ ದಿ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್. ನೀವು ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಯಾವ್ದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬರೀಬೇಕಂತಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಫಾರ್ಚುನೇಟ್ಲಿ ಸುಮತಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದೇರ್, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಲಕ್ಕಿ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಸಿ ನಾಟ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಕನ್ನಡ. ಓಕೆ, ನೀವ್ ಏನನ್ನ ಬರೀ ಯಾವ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗೆ ಪರಿಹಾರ ಕಂಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಂತಿದ್ರ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಓದ್ಬೇಕು. ದಿಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಟು ಸೇ. ಎರಡನೇದ್ದು ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಆ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಅದರ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮೂರನೇದ್ದು ಕೇಳಬೇಕು. ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಕೇಳಬೇಕು? ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ನಾನು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಗಾರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಇನ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ವಿತ್ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ರೆಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಅಂತ ನಾನು PhD ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂಗೆ ನಿಯರ್ಲಿ ಬಿಲೀವ್ ಇಟ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ 23 people who are at the help of the system of garment industry. I spoke for more than half an hour every day. Almost ಸುಮಾರು 80 to 90 sessions I spoke. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು PhD ಮಾಡೋದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಬಹುಶಃ ಕೂತ್ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಥವಾ PhD ಬರೀಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ 15 ದಿವಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ದ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಬರೆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ತೋರ್ಸಕ್ ನಂಗೆ ಭಯ ಆಯ್ತು. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಇಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ PhD ಕೊಡ್ತಾರ, ಇದೇನ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್, ಇದೇನ PhD ಬಟ್ ಅವ್ರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಚರ್ಚಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಮ್ ಸರ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ನನಗೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಚರ್ಚಿಸಿ ಪರೀಕ್ಷಿಸಬೇಕು. ಪರೀಕ್ಷಿಸಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಟೆಸ್ಟೆಡ್ by using different things, you know, what are the weapons for testing and all. ಚರ್ಚಿಸಬೇಕು, ಪರೀಕ್ಷಿಸಬೇಕು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬರಿಬೇಕು. ಬರೆದದ್ದು ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೂ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗೋಂಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು. So I hope to certain extent you understood. Whatever you write as an article or PhD, MPhil, whatever you are going to do, it should be as simple as possible. It should be understandable to as many number of people as possible. ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಹೇಳಕ್ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಹೇಳೋದು ಬೇಡ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ನೀವೇನೇ ಬರೆದ್ರು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತದ, ಬರೆದವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತದ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತದ, ಇದು ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ದೆ, ಇದು ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ತದ, ಇದು ಬೇರೆ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಅಂತಾರ ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಫೀಲ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಎ ಗುಡ್ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಗುಡ್ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಅಂತ ನನ್ಗೆ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಐ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಮಾನಂದ ಮೇಡಮ್, ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಮಾನಂದ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ management of this KLE society and everyone for bearing with me for 5 to 10 minutes. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful speech. I request Mr. Shivakumar for the vote of thanks.
Good evening to one and all. On the desk and off the desk. Dignitaries on the desk and off the desk. So I, Shivakumar M. Sajjan, Department of Commerce, on behalf of KLE Societies S. Nijalingappa College and the entire fraternity, I propose a vote of thanks. I thank our today's seminar speaker, Dr. M. Swati Madam, whose pair schedule all the way from Coimbatore to grace the occasion. Today we had an opportunity to hear your thoughts, madam, and this will surely be going to encourage us in our future events. Thank you, madam. I also extend my thanks to today's chairperson, Dr. Ravikumar Minajigi sir, have enlightened our minds and have shown us a new path. Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam. I also thank our commerce. I extend my special thanks to delegates, paper presenter, HODs of various departments, faculties, who are the strong support for us, and students for making a seminar a grand success. Thank you, one.
Delegates, the refreshments is arranged in front of the Commerce Department. Tomorrow, the session will start by 9:30. Thank you all.